Well, pick your poison. It is a back-to-back against two tough teams, but at least you don't have to travel very far. Yao Ming and T-Mac making their way into the SBC Center in San Antonio, Texas, where we've got NBA basketball coming your way. Just a matter of moments, about 37 minutes away from tip-off as the Rockets take on the San Antonio Spurs. Hi again, how's it going? She's Dana Larson. I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. Welcome to Houston Rockets pregame show. Tonight it is Chapter 3 of the I-10 rivalry. So far, the Rockets and Spurs have been a great read for the home team. But tonight, of course, the scene shifting to the most difficult building in the league to visit. We're all over the Rockets and Spurs for the next 30 minutes.
Well, Bobby certainly hasn't drawn the headlines that Shaq has over the last 24 hours, but here is the latest on Bobby. He was in Los Angeles today, and he was checked out by his doctor, Dr. Watkins, there in Los Angeles. Apparently, an MRI taken in Houston yesterday revealed some swelling, some stiffness, as well as some scar tissue left over from the operation he had on his back during the offseason. So the plan right now is for Bobby to rest for about 10 days, and then hopefully at that point he'll be able to resume basketball-related activities, and then hopefully shortly thereafter, he'll be able to resume playing for the Rockets on a regular basis, hopefully for the final month of the season. Again, you notice I used the word hopefully quite a bit there. We'll have to wait and see. That's the best-case scenario at this point. So that, of course, begs the question, will the Rockets pursue a trade? I can confirm this much. There has been activity in Houston today, calls going in, calls coming in, I should say, calls going out. But don't expect anything significant, guys. If a deal is made here prior to tomorrow's 5 p.m. Central Time deadline, it's not going to be a big deal. It'll be something to bolster the team slightly and get them through until when Bobby can rejoin them, hopefully, like I said, within about 2 to 3 weeks.
If I was on the other end, I wouldn't have wanted that call, to decide a game. It's a loose ball, it's a hard play. If there was contact, just give it to the other team out of bounds. It'd be very simple. I thought Danny Crawford's a great referee. Knowing his work, he'd like to have that one back. We're getting the ball to Tracy, drove it. They sucked in off Pageant, and I wasn't at all disappointed with that shot. Didn't go in, but I was fine with the shot.
Let's get you updated on what's happening as far as the playoff picture is concerned right now. The Rockets 2 games back of Sacramento for the 5 seed, if it all ended today. That would be a huge story, probably the lead story in all the news. San Antonio would be taking on the L.A. Lakers. Spurs would be the number 1 seed.
As you see, the Spurs out front in this category by a significant amount. But the Spurs have not shot the 3-ball well against the Rockets this year, though neither team has really shot well at all when they match up against each other. Neither team averaging even 80 points in those 2 games, with both shooting right about 34%. However, the addition of Tracy McGrady this season has the Rockets owning a 2-0 season series lead.
So you've been asking yourself, just which team is the best in 2005? Of course you were saying, yeah, the Chicago Bulls, winners of 18 of their last 24 since January 1st. Spurs 16-6. Keep in mind, 7 of those 23, at least 7 of those last 23, on the road. The Rockets hanging in there as well with a 17-7 mark.
Here's McGrady for 3. Owen is all over McGrady. Foul is picked up. A contested 4-point play. Tracy McGrady from downtown. McGrady overpulling for 3. Yes! Yes! Tracy McGrady cuts it to a 2-point lead. And Brown lost it. Here comes McGrady. No turnabout remaining. McGrady for the win. Yes! And the Rockets steal a game from the Spurs.
Yeah, in the words of Jeff Van Gundy, we got a miracle. The first time the Rockets and Spurs met this season, Tracy McGrady scored 13 of his 33 points in the final 35 seconds, including, as you saw, the game-winning 3. Stay tuned to find out if there will be any heroics required tonight.
As far as the series, 2 wins for the Rockets against the Spurs by a total of 7 points. But tonight, of course, the series shifting to the SBC Center, a.k.a. the NBA's most difficult building for a visitor to win. And Spurs a ridiculous 23-1 at home. As we join Bill Worrell and Van Chancellor. T-Mac's last 35 seconds. Have either one of you ever seen a half minute of individual basketball like that before?
I haven't, Kevin. I don't know about Coach. Huh? There There's nobody ever seen every 35 seconds like that. It's incredible to think that right out. I don't think you could do that one on nobody.
This is one of the reasons, though, the Rockets went out and got Tracy McGrady. San Antonio has dominated this series in the last 5 years until this season. And as you take a look at this season now, the Rockets, one of the better defensive teams, San Antonio #1 in the league. So you expect a low-scoring game when these two get together.
Yeah, when these two coaches get together, they're not thinking about ways to score. They're trying to think of ways to stop each other. They're doing it. Houston won those games with defense, but we'll show you some great offensive plays. And was that a shot at the end of the game? That's an incredible, just the things he can do is just unbelievable. And you look at it, his outside shot at that time was really, he was on it. But the 35 seconds, you can't say enough about that.
Yeah, that's really been the difference. And, of course, with Bruce Bowen for San Antonio, that's their lockdown defensive guy. But he hasn't had a lot of success with T-Mac.
Yeah, what they do in San Antonio so much is they try to guard you individually. They don't double a lot. And Bowen just has his hands full with Tracy. I think somewhere San Antonio's going to have to double Tracy McGrady, make him give up the ball.
Well, as you can tell by the aroma in the arena, the rodeo just left town. And
that's pretty good. I'm gonna give you one for that one.
Some of the horses and cattle, I think, are still here. But when they have the rodeo, the livestock show in San Antonio, that means that they have to go out on a 21-day road trip. They haven't played since January the 29th, and yet they went 5-2.
It's hard for me to believe that they have the best record in the NBA when you think about they haven't played here in 21 days, and those jokers are doing it. In their paper today, they're saying, hey, we got to get better. Tim Duncan is saying, Coach wants us to get better. Can you believe it? They're leading the world.
Well, that's why Popovich was the all-star coach. And speaking of Tim Duncan, we call him, or at least Shaq does, the big fundamental, and I think he's right on. Timmy Duncan, the best basketball player in the game today, Coach?
I'd say this. He influences the game. Look at his points. That's 21. That's 11 rebounds, but he has 2.7 block shots. But he's doing it all in 35 minutes of playing time. Look at him now. He's 7 feet tall. He's hitting 15-footers, 18-footers from outside. And then when you put him on the block, he is just impossible to guard. You have to double-team Tim Duncan. If you don't, it'll get 40.
And, of course, when he came to this team over 7 seasons ago, they were not a good defensive team, and they've been leading the league for 7 years in a row. He's a great shot blocker. He uses that glass with his shot. There's just not anything he cannot do. So San Antonio ready to get going here after the All-Star break. The Rockets losing a tough one last night.
All right, guys, thanks very much. I want to make it very clear right now that this is John Berry, not Brent Berry. T-Mac may be confused, but we're not. In case you missed the story, Tracy McGrady, during one of his interviews at All-Star Weekend, mistakenly referred to John as his brother Brent Berry, who plays here in San Antonio for the Spurs. And I'm guessing you let him hear about it a little bit by now, right?
Yeah, a friend of mine called me and said they listened to the interview, so I'm calling him Vince now for a while. We'll get back at him, but that's not the first time it's happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
You and your brother have played against one another many times over the course of your careers, but have you ever been on opposing sides of such an intense rivalry like this?
Nah, probably not. It's something that I really don't enjoy too much during the game because I'm out there trying to win and do whatever it takes, and so is he. And I know I have the upper hand, and that's all that really matters. And, I'm 1-0 against him this year, and hopefully we can make it 2-0 tonight.
There you go. Let's hope so. All right. Now, the latest word on Bobby Sura that we have is that it's going to be 10 days to 14 days before he's back, and then that's a best-case scenario right now. Obviously, you did a great job filling in for him last night off the bench, but it looks like it's going to have to be a total team effort. Yourself, Andre Barrett, Rod Strickland, David Wesley, everybody's going to have to be involved.
Yeah, last night was tough not having Bob because he gets us into the right spots. We had some lineups out there that we're not used to playing, but these things happen, and hopefully Bob's back as soon as possible. He's been playing great for us. He gives us great toughness, great energy, and we'll have to pick up the pieces till he gets back.
Speaking of tough, you've got a difficult one here tonight. Spurs 23-1 at home, best record overall in the NBA this season. These guys are really the benchmark for every other team in the league right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're the class of the league, and they've won 15 in a row here. We've beaten them twice. I'm sure that's in the front of their minds, and we know it's going to be difficult, but we've shown we can play with them. We beat them twice, and we're going to have to play our best game to get it done tonight.
And I guess as long as T-Mac keeps scoring 13 points in 35 seconds, he can call anybody he wants, right?
You can do that, but hopefully we don't need that tonight because that's probably a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
All right, there you have it. John Barry with us. Rockets and the Spurs coming up shortly here from SBC Center. Let's go back to you.
The Rockets have owned the I-10 rivalry this season with 2 victories at Toyota Center. One coming on a T-Mac fantastic finish. The last coming as Houston held San Antonio to a season-low 67 points. But the Spurs are the NBA's most dominant home team with only 1 loss at SBC this season. All-Stars collide as T-Mac and Yao face the big fundamental and Manu. Next on FSN. From the SBC Center in the Alamo City, Fox Sports Net presents Houston Rockets basketball. And tonight, it's the Rockets taking on their old I-10 rival, the San Antonio Spurs. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell. Good to have you with us as the Rockets go on the road to take on San Antonio. And since the arrival of Tim Duncan over 7 years ago, the Spurs have totally dominated this series. But this season, the Rockets won the first 2 games, both played at the Toyota Center. You saw those last-second heroics by Tracy McGrady. But now they have to come to San Antonio, and this is where the Spurs play well. They are 23-1 in this arena, so it could be a little different here tonight.
It'll be a much different game because they have not played at home in 21 days. They're looking forward to it. But the Rockets right now, I think, match up well with San Antonio. Great game tonight. I look forward to be.
And, of course, Coach Tracy McGrady has been the real difference for Houston this season. We cannot forget the 13 points in 35 seconds.
Yeah, when you think about that, that's incredible. But he's averaging better than 30 points, better than 6 rebounds a game. He's shooting the ball, and then in clutch time, the Rockets have someone to go to that can make a shot. Watch him. He can penetrate to the basket. He shoots a little mid-range jumper, and then he's able to come in here and shoot that screen and roll play, make that shot, and then he's hurt a lot of people with that little up and under move. He's doing it all right now.
Well, that's Tracy McGrady for Houston, and of course for San Antonio, it has been Tim Duncan with excellent play over the last 7+ seasons. He and Yao Ming now will really collide in the middle, but the big fundamental is fun to watch.
Yeah, he's just a load for everybody. You look at it, the Lakers have got 3 players on him. Then if you double him inside, he steps outside and hits that shot. I think that's what's made him a special player. You're at that height, he can rebound. But Yao Ming, he is coming alive lately. Look at that little ball fake. Take it to the whole face of the basket. He's knocking 7-6, ladies and gentlemen, and then he's able to shoot his little jump hook when he squares up to the basket now.
And he's coming off, yeah, he's coming off a 30-point performance last night, too. He needs to keep that going because he has not played well here. Manu Ginobili, one of the most exciting players in the NBA. This kid is fun to watch.
Yeah, you will watch him right now. He can just shoot it. He carries it to the basket. After the performance in the Olympics, he just caught fire right here for the Spurs this year. He can do it all. But the Rockets now have David Wesley. I think he's playing as well as any 2 guard in the league now. His spot-up shooting lately has been phenomenal, almost 56%.
And what about our Toyota Power Team? Keys to the game, Coach.
I think the number 1 key tonight, you've got to keep Parker out of the lane on the break. And then you got Parker and Tim Duncan on screen and roll. You got to be able to defend that. And then rebound. The Rockets got hurt by 13. They've got to rebound tonight.
We are ready for a good old Texas shootout. And we'll be back with a tip-off in just a moment, right here on FSN. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to the SBC Center in San Antonio, Texas. NBA action coming your way. The Spurs with the best record at 41-12 in the league, and the Houston Rockets at 32-22. Here are tonight's Southwest Airlines starting lineups, and for your Houston Rockets, who got some good news on Bob Sura today, but he's still going to be out anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks. Tracy McGrady, Juwan Howard, Yao Ming, David Wesley, and Rod Strickland will start it out for Jeff Van Gundy. For the San Antonio Spurs, one of the best starting 5 in the league, the defensive shutdown man, Bruce Bowen. He'll have his hands full with T-Mac here tonight. The big fundamental, Tim Duncan. Rasho Nesterovic in the middle. Manu Ginobili. And Tony Parker, the speedy backcourt for San Antonio. And Popovich. But Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, averaging over 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 block shots a game. It's Duncan versus Yao and T-Mac coming up next on FSN. Welcome back to the SBC Center in San Antonio. They have been playing rodeo for the last couple of weeks. And standing, I hope, away from all of the rodeo stuff is Jeff Hagedorn at the baseline.
I'm checking my shoes, and I'm checking them twice, Bill. I know what you're talking about. Hey, it's going to be difficult enough for the Rockets to find a way to make up for the loss of Bobby Surra's 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. But now tonight they've got to find a way to defend Tony Parker without him as well. Now, in the 4 games prior to the All-Star break, Parker averaged 23 points and 6 assists. Obviously, just about every other guard on the Rockets roster will get a shot at him tonight. But I asked assistant head coach Tom Thibodeau what the key is when facing Parker. He told me you can't let him penetrate. You have to contain him both in transition and in the pick and roll. And every player out there has got to give support. Sounds like a good game plan, but easier said than done, guys.
Well, it really is, Jeff, and Parker and Ginobili put so much pressure on the defense, and then they've got Tim Duncan to go to if they have to have him. And Coach, it's truly an international team, this San Antonio team.
And you're thinking about going to Tim Duncan if you want to. What a choice. That means you've got 3 pretty good players.
Well, as the shot clock runs down, it's a nice warm feeling to have a Tim Duncan on your team. Rockets know about that because they've got T-Mac and Yao. Parker gets it out. Oh, Ginobili is all alone. You better check that defense because you don't want that to happen.
See, that's the Spurs offense, though. Very patient. Grab it, get it, kick it, penetrate to the middle, and then kick it out.
That's 72 threes on the season for Manu Ginobili, who made the All-Star team for his first time. He's an All-Star from Argentina. Tracy McGrady. Over to Rod Strickland now. Shot clock at 5 seconds. Down to 4. McGrady with a great pass to Yao Ming.
That was made possible by the attention Tracy McGrady received, doubling him, leaving Yao wide open.
Tracy McGrady had 9 assists in that loss to Seattle. And there's the penetration that we talked about. Tony Parker, the youngster in his 4th season from France.
Pick and roll, he comes off of it so hard, it's hard to hedge. The weak side's going to have to rotate over and help out a little more.
Steal by Manu Ginobili. Strickland got turned around. He got busy.
Textbook 2-on-1 fast break. Give it up, get it back, make the layup.
Now San Antonio can steal the ball with the best of them, so you have got to be ready at all times. They're number 9 in the league. And down the baseline goes David Wesley. Took a little tour. Back to Strickland. Juwan Howard sets a pick. Rod goes to the basket with a left hand. Rod Strickland played here in San Antonio for 3 seasons back at the end of the 80s and 89 through 92, so they're familiar with him here. Parker goes around the defense for Houston.
And that's a major problem because Parker goes off the screen with Ginobili on his side. No help because he'll shoot the 3 ball. Early timeout.
Boy, Coach, Jeff Van Gundy has to be really upset right now. That you just can't give up layups with this Spurs team. And it's a 9-4 lead by San Antonio early. 9-4 San Antonio here in the early going. McDonald's family packs are back. You can get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and 2 kids' gifts, all starting at only $69. The next family packs game is Sunday against the Jazz. Remember, that's a 3 o'clock game now against Utah. So call 713-627-DUNK or visit Rockets.com for complete details. How about a little pick and roll, huh?
As the Rockets executed, had tremendous patience, ball reversal. They both go out, switch on Tracy, and the big man dunks the basketball. Great, tremendous execution. And then here goes Parker. So Rod's got to rotate over quicker. Parker's just too quick. He can get to the basket. You know he favors the right side a little bit. You got to keep him away. Can you believe their 2 guards have 9 points? You called it to start the game.
Yeah, and Parker really did not play very well. In the first game that the Rockets won on that sensational finish by Tracy McGrady, Parker had only 5 points. He did have 9 assists in that game. He's talking to Bruce Bowen, who had only 7 points. Bowen had to try to slow down Tracy McGrady in that game, and he gave up 33 and 28 to McGrady in the 2 games in Houston.
That was a timeout to make a defensive adjustment on how they're going to defend the screen and roll and not get the ball to Tracy.
Bowen tries to pick up Wesley. Wesley off the glass for 2. Nesterovic comes outside. Oops, Manu's wide open again. This time he misses. Yao tips it. Nesterovic picks it up. Nesterovic and Tim Duncan lead the league in block shots. San Antonio does. They're the 2 leaders in that category.
That's a complimentary player that I thought San Antonio really needed. He's inside doing exactly what they need.
And Duncan will get to the free throw line with the best of them. Yao Ming with his first foul of the game.
You'll watch him see a little ball fake. He gets Howard up in the air, takes it to the basket. Here's a whistle, gets it on the rim, and then he has 2 free throws. The only weakness I see in this game, he's improved from last year. He's shooting 65% this year, up from 59, but he's still not very good.
Duncan has been to the free throw line 370 times already this season. And in game 1 against Houston, he went to the line 14 times. He made 12. And that's the big difference, Coach. He has not been a good free throw shooter in the past, but this year he's shooting those free throws very well. Looks like he worked on them in the offseason.
He has a little bit better rhythm to me. He's shooting the ball with a little more arch. Watch this. A little double team. That's what I thought teams would do without Bobby Sura.
Wesley repositioned and hit a 3. David hit 4 threes in last night's game, but it wasn't enough.
He's been red hot. The Rockets struggled last night rebounding the basketball. They'll have to rebound well tonight to win.
11-9, Spurs with the lead after jumping out to that quick start. There's a turnover. That was a bad pass. Here's Strickland in the open court. He picks out Wesley again for a 3. This one's short. And Strickland gets it back, puts it up and in. What a drive by Rod Strickland to tie the game at 11.
A good offensive rebound and then the ability to carry it back up in a crowd score. Strickland's red hot tonight.
Got him a little hop in his get-along tonight. Bowen can hit that shot from the outside. This time he misses. He's a defensive specialist, but Bowen can hit that open 3 if you leave him out there. McGrady to the basket. No whistle. Pretty good block by Nesterovic. Manu Ginobili to Duncan to Nesterovic. And he got the roll. Friendly rims here in the SBC Center.
If you see how San Antonio is running the basketball, they're up and down. They get right into pick and roll off of their break. They don't give you a chance to catch your breath. You got to come back on defense in a hurry.
T-Mac going to his left, and he hits the jumper. Tracy McGrady struggled a little bit with his shot last night, but of course he had to play a lot of point guard, and that, I think, allowed them, as you pointed out last night, to defense him a little better.
I don't think he can get in position of where he wants it. He needs it best on the rim with a little rhythm and to be able to step. At the point, he can't do that.
Parker got inside, but he saw Yao Ming. 4 seconds, down to 3, down to 2. Great defense by Houston. And the shot clock went off before the ball went out of bounds off Yao, so the Rockets get it back.
Well, I find it just unbelievable, incredible as to what the Rockets do after Jeff takes a defensive timeout.
Those are 2 pretty good coaches, aren't they?
Really good coaches, excellent defensive coaches, nobody better.
I thought I'd ask a nominated Hall of Famer about 2 coaches. Anybody ought to know it, ought to be you. Wesley has it blocked by Manu. Now, you know, everybody talks about Manu's offense, but his defense is pretty spectacular, too.
Yes, and you see it now because of the height advantage. You see him go over. See, Ginobili can just run from so far out. He's a lot taller than David, longer arms. When you got those long arms, it just allows you to reach offensive players.
He's 6'6", and, of course, David 6'1". McGrady and Bowen. Bowen's a very physical defensive player, but McGrady's had his way. Juwan Howard, top of the key. Now, that's critical he hits that shot, Coach.
Tonight, for the Rockets to be successful without their starting point guard, he's going to have to hit it because they have trouble defending the Rockets screen and roll.
Duncan with a turnaround, rims it out, and a loose ball foul on Houston. And it's called on Yao Ming, and that's his second here in the first 5 minutes.
That's tough. That's a tough call. I thought that the call last night that put him out of the game. Watch him. He steps up and shoots the basketball to go up to the game. Well, they're just fighting for the ball. He calls Yao on the back. I thought that play hurt the Rockets last night.
Well, that's Bill Spooner making the call. The officials tonight, Louis Griot, Bill Spooner, and Ed Malloy. Griot, Spooner, and Malloy. And if you talk to most of the scouts who watch a lot of these games, they'll tell you that Yao has still not gotten the respect of these officials in the NBA yet that a veteran should have.
I thought that was a no call. I thought there was some contact, but it was between two players, just going for the ball.
Parker takes it inside, drops it off for Nesterovic, and it's off of, I guess, Houston. And the Spurs will bring it in with 10 on the shot clock. Duncan gets it inside for 2. He's got such a quick jump.
But Bill, you cannot allow any player the caliber of Tim Duncan to get that close to the basket. Somebody's got to go double and help Juwan out.
6'11" with a lot of touch. He can play physical. He can play with a lot of flair. He's just the best player in the league, in my humble opinion. McGrady out front. 5 down to 4 on the shot clock. Bowen knocks it away. McGrady's got to put it up. And a 24-second violation. That's the defense you're going to get from both of these teams.
A double team. They were smart as soon as they saw the shot clock coming down. Here comes Ginobili off the weak side, helping out. Then they bring in really good players. Barry, Rose. This is just a deep basketball team.
San Antonio number 1 in the league in points allowed at 86. The Rockets are number 4 in the league. Parker takes a tour through the lane. Back to Bowen. Nice pickup. Now they go to Duncan with 8 on the shot clock. That's the luxury we talked about. Back outside to Brent Barry. On the pass-off, down to 1. Parker couldn't get it off in time, and that'll be another 24. We have already seen 3 24-second violations, and we're still in the first quarter.
And that's because of tremendous defense. I thought the Rockets' defense, I told you, Bill, the hardest thing to do is stop penetration and come out defensively and not allow San Antonio to get a shot.
Game tied at 15 as Wesley back to Strickland. Both teams shooting near 70% to start the game. Inside, McKinley went for the shot, and Rose saves it to Parker. Parker gets by Strickland, puts it up, missed it. And the rebound to Juwan Howard. Quickly back to Strickland the other way. Look at all the white jerseys back. Strickland takes a little tour through the defense. What was that? That was a turnover.
Yeah, that was a turnover. That was a behind-your-back pass, a great pass. It just wasn't anybody there for the Rockets.
Parker gives it up. Duncan uses the glass better than anybody in the league, but that time he missed.
But you should have seen Tim Duncan. Excuse me, I want to make this point. He missed that shot and just sprinted back. You just can't measure how valuable that is to a coach and to a team.
You coaches love that, don't you?
Yeah, you got your superstar playing the hardest of anybody on your team.
And he had a good trainer, of course, when he came here to San Antonio. David Robinson took him under his wing. He didn't need that probably, but it was nice to have it. And contact with Juwan Howard. And the basket by Duncan.
Hop told me at the Olympics, he said, "Man, I'm the luckiest coach in the NBA. My superstar has one of the greatest attitudes in the league."
Strickland with another turnover. Parker the other way. Oh, what a great block by Wesley, but they're going to call a foul on David.
Conversely, did you see that hustle by David Wesley? He could have given up. So many people would have said, "Parker, dunk the ball." He sprinted from right here in front of us, got back. You watch it now. You'll see the little steal. You watch David Wesley come off the weak side.
Coach, Strickland's out of gas. Well, that hit off Parker's head. That was a beautiful block, and it hit off Parker's head. I don't know what these guys are looking at.
That should have been Rockets ball going the other way. Ed Malloy, he anticipated a foul. It didn't happen. Parker's shooting. The only bad thing I think about this team, he's only shooting 65%. They got 4 starters who's averaging about 60%.
If they have an Achilles heel, they're 25th in the league in free throw shooting. And I don't know if that's going to hurt them or not.
Come playoff time, I doubt it. They're the best team in basketball right now. But in close games, it could hurt.
Yes, when you think about it, Barry, Brown, and Ginobili are shooting better than 80%. Take those three out, and they'd be dead last in the league.
They were 17 of 27 in that second game against Houston from the line for only 63%. It certainly hurt them in that game. Juwan Howard steps back 2 on the shot clock. Down to 1. Juwan puts it up, and he just did beat the buzzer. And that ties the game at 17. 3.5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Rockets shooting 61%, 54% for the Spurs. Rose taking it inside, and the foul is called on Tracy McGrady. And Malik Rose will go to the line. He is a 69% free throw shooter.
You watch them, though. They run this little screen and roll. Parker comes off of it. Rose goes up under, uses the rim or tries to. Tracy comes across and fouls. Right now, the pick and roll is just giving the Rockets major problems.
Malik Rose signed a contract here a couple of seasons ago, a big one. And there has been talk of trades for him over the last couple of years, but he's one of Pop's favorites because he adds so much energy to the San Antonio team. He's in his 9th season out of Drexel, 6'7", 245. You can put him on a big guy or a smaller guy. They have a lot of interchangeable parts on the Spurs team, and that's something you like in a player, isn't it?
Yeah, I like a player that can play many positions, a player that can guard, that can play maybe the 4 or the 3 or defend the 3 or 4. When you have that, it allows you not to count. You don't have to play so many players. I don't want to play but 8 or 9 players at the most, and you don't have to do it. Unbelievable right now. Bowen is guarding Tracy like you run a boxing one in high school. He's face guarding him. He's not hipping anybody. All he's doing is just guarding Tracy McGrady.
Juwan Howard will work it in on Rose with a baseline jumper. He misses, and Mutombo tips it out to Barrett. Andre Barrett is in the game now, knocked out of bounds by Brent Barrett. And a timeout charge to San Antonio. 2:57 left to play in the first period, and the Rockets are down by 2. San Antonio up by 2 with 2:57 in the first quarter. Let's take a look at tonight's McDonald's league leaders, and these are the opponent points per game year in and year out since Tim Duncan has come to the Spurs over 7 years ago. San Antonio has been no worse than 3rd in the league in opponent points per game, and the Rockets are right there at number 4. And that's also shooting percentage, too, isn't it, Coach?
And that's why, because they contest every shot. They don't give up any easy shots in transition. San Antonio and Houston will make you earn it all. But right now, the guy that's driving the Spurs is Tony Parker. Watch him. He's just coming. He's getting to the hole too easy. He's just penetrating. Right now, somebody's got to get out there and stop it. And then here comes Ginobili. When he penetrates, he's kicking back. Execution of 2-on-1. Right now, the 2 guards for the Spurs are the ones making the difference.
Tony started the year out shooting only 35% in the first 13 games, but they made a little switch in his shooting style. He's been over 50% now. He's number 3 among point guards in the NBA in shooting percentage, over 50% a game, so he can really hurt you from the outside, too. He's averaging 16.6 assists a game. So Barrett does have a little speed to stay with Parker, though.
Barrett, that's why he's in the game tonight. He's going to be a big key tonight. He's got to be able to go in and slow Tony Parker down a little bit.
And Rose with a foul. The Rockets almost were close to a 5-second violation. They just did get the ball in time.
I don't like a little point guard throwing the ball in like that because they can't see over all of those people. You're open, they just can't find you.
That's a good point. There's Barrett matched up with Parker. Nesterovic comes out to trap him. And a whistle as Bowen had to grab hold of Tracy McGrady. McGrady did a little backdoor move, and Bowen had to grab him.
He had no choice there. The Rockets going to run a lot of bounce play now where they can break Tracy off of a double screen and see if they can either get him coming high or low. What does San Antonio do? Immediately switch to a 3-2 zone.
T-Mac puts it up and drew the foul from Nesterovic. Tracy McGrady being a little more aggressive tonight. They did a good job of stopping him last night going to the basket.
See, what he does, he finds those seams, carries it to the basket, even against the zone. What Tracy does against zones, he'll either use the screen or get to the hole and then get to the free throw line.
Tracy McGrady and Bruce Bowen have had quite a few matchups already this season. They've had 2, and so far T-Mac getting the best of it. That doesn't happen too often. If you were to ask the NBA players who they thought the dirtiest player was in the league, Bowen would lead in the voting every year, but that's what Greg Popovich likes.
Yeah, but that's because he's trying to guard somebody. If you got to hold you, he's going to hold you.
Yeah.
You got to push you a little bit. He figures he's got 6 fouls. I'm not going to contribute with 20 points. I might as well guard you.
He's certainly not dirty. He's very physical, and that's what Popovich coaches. He doesn't coach dirty play. He coaches physical play. There's a miss by San Antonio. 2:15 left to play in the quarter. The Rockets have tied it at 19. Chance for Houston to take the lead on this possession. Wesley getting a pick from Juwan Howard. Brent Berry stays with him. Howard turns on Nesterovic with a beautiful shot. Juwan having a little trouble last night, but not tonight. He's 3 for 5 here to start the quarter.
And he's been the player that's come out and made the major difference for the Rockets right now. That's why the Rockets have a lead. They can't guard him.
Good job by Barrett. Parker caught the ball, but Barrett was able to swat it away. And now just more substitutions as Ginobili comes back into the game. And one of the most improved players in the league checks in, and I'm talking about young Devin Brown, a guard out of Texas San Antonio right here in the Alamo City. He's made himself into quite a player in his 3rd year. Ginobili back out to Parker. He'll shoot a 3. Missed it. McGrady will set up a fast break. Look at the Rocket red as McGrady gets it out to Barrett. Wesley on the drive, drops it off to Mutombo, and is blocked, and a foul is called. Nesterovic picks up his 2nd foul of the game.
Watch the Rockets execute this fast break. Penetrate, kick it out, and then you go back and penetrate again, and here comes David Wesley going to the basket and dishing off to the big man.
So Mutombo will shoot a couple. Deke had a chance to give the Rockets a 1-point lead last night at the end of the game. He missed the second. He made the first, missed the second, and then Seattle got a couple of free throws and went on to win the game. That was a tough loss for Houston last night, but they have rebounded well, it looks like, tonight, haven't they?
Playing back-to-back after a tough loss, losing your starting guard. I like the energy. They are taking the challenge of playing it, the leading team in the league right now, saying, hey, we're going to take it to you.
Rockets currently on an 8-2 run with 1:20 left to play in the first. Devin Brown. Nice little mid-range shooter. There's Rose from the wing for 2.
But that's how Pop uses him. He screens with him. They go double the guy, and then they pump him out, and there he is shooting a little jumper.
Wesley off the glass, a little too hard, and a foul is called on Ginobili. So David Wesley will go to the line. The Rockets, about 3 minutes ago, had not attempted a free throw, and the Spurs had attempted 6. Now this will be number 5 and 6 for the Rockets, so it's evened out. Tony Massenberg will check into the game for Rasho Nesterovic. And Massenberg, the most well-traveled man in NBA history, has checked in for San Antonio. Houston was one of his 11 stops.
Yeah, but remember this. He does have a job. He is getting a paycheck, and he is playing ball.
If somebody wants you, Coach, right?
If they'll pay you, jump on it. I can remember 2 guys wearing wigs and sunglasses to keep their job. Don't be telling me what you're going to do to keep your job.
I think I know who you're talking about. And the Rockets lead by 3. Under a minute left in the first quarter. Ginobili can make some unbelievable plays and also some unbelievable turnovers. There's Wesley on the drive, and it's blocked by Brown inside the Howard for 2. Good recovery by T-Mac.
But Tracy McGrady's there. He gives up the basketball. I've said it. So many players would have shot that ball. He didn't do it. He gave it up to Juwan.
Good catch by Brown in the corner. Massenberg gives it up to Rose. Rose will shoot it off balance, and Mutombo with a rebound. Ginobili over his back, and the Rockets now can take the final shot. Shot clock is off. 18-17 and counting. Tracy McGrady will run the last play. Where's he going, Coach?
I think now they're going to set it up. I think he'll just try to go one-on-one. No screen, shoot over Brown. He's bigger than Brown.
And Mutombo takes it instead, and they did not get the shot they wanted. But it was a good first quarter for the Houston Rockets. The Rockets shooting 56% in the first period and lead it 26-21 on FSN. We welcome you back to the SBC Center, and the Rockets winning the first period. Royce Builders has teamed up with the Rockets to send Houston area students to college. For each Rockets block shot during the season, $50 will be donated to the RoyceBuilders.com Foundation for you. Log on to RoyceBuilders.com for scholarship information. Well, Juwan Howard had quite a first quarter. He was 4 for 6 from the field. He had 8 points, Coach.
And he did it with just being able to be in the right spot. He's a little jumper from outside. Juwan knows where he needs to play from. He does a great job. Look at him. He's strong. He turns and he faces the basket. He's got his little jump hook working so well for him right now. And if he's playing well, usually the Rockets are playing well.
So there's Greg Popovich in his 9th year as the head coach of San Antonio. They put a vote to the players in the NBA about the best coach in the league, and he won hands down. And he is probably as respected as anybody in all of basketball. His winning percentage is number 4 among all-time coaches at 66%, and he's number 1 in active coaches. And you were at the Olympics with him. He was an assistant there. He was coach of the All-Star team this year, and he's won 2 championships, man.
Yeah, I think he's an excellent coach because he demands it of them defensively. He kind of lets them have a little freedom offensively, and that's what players want to do because they want to win.
Pop played at the Air Force Academy and learned the game and a lot of discipline from his coach Bob Spear there at the Air Force Academy. Bob Spear was a heck of a coach. He had an assistant by the name of Dean Smith. Pretty good.
Pretty good assistant.
Inside to Massenberg, over to Devin Brown. And Brown brings it out, and Mutombo with a rebound. Remember, if you're looking for Yao Ming, he got 2 early fouls. He's been on the bench. But Mutombo has played very well. Brady takes it inside. Thought he was fouled. Did not get a whistle. John Barry just checked in. And he gets the steal over to McGrady. Back to John. John tried a no-look pass, and Ginobili saw that coming. That's the 3rd steal of the game for Manu Ginobili already.
That's a great anticipation. But right now, the Rockets are doing a great job. They're out rebounding the Spurs.
Oh, Rose walked. That was pretty obvious. That is the 4th turnover now by San Antonio. The Rockets have 4. So it'll be Barrett. Juwan stays in the game along with Mutombo, John Barry, and Tracy McGrady. Parker will pick up Barrett. Rose will stay on Juwan Howard. And Devin Brown will chase McGrady around. Barrett gets it back to Mutombo. Shot clock at 8 seconds. Down to 3 seconds. Down to 2. Juwan puts it up and in. And again, he just beats the buzzer with that beautiful little hook shot. 10 points for Juwan Howard.
Right now, Spurs do not have an answer for Juwan Howard defensively.
16 points in the paint for Houston already.
If they do that, they're going to win this game tonight because San Antonio cannot guard them.
Parker back to Rose. And good job by Mutombo to come out. And Ginobili gets the loose ball. Fresh 24. Doesn't use much. He's fouled. It counts. There's probably not any more of an acrobat in the NBA than Manu Ginobili. He is so strong for 6'6".
See, he penetrates to the hole. He does such a good job as he gets it. So many players that are left-handed cannot do this. See him make a little step move, jump back, use his right hand and hook the basketball. Watch it. He protects himself, draws the foul, gets it on the glass, goes in.
Manu, in his third season in the NBA, he is 28 years old because he played over in Europe where he was Euro Player of the Year, leading his team in Italy to a European championship. Then he came to San Antonio. There's Duncan, just checked in. He swatted it away from Juwan Howard. Brent Berry guarded by John Berry. Get a picture of that. That's a family affair. Ginobili puts his head down and foul on Berry.
No, Bill, that would be my one criticism of Barrett. I think he plays hard. I think he does some good stuff. I think he gets a little too close to his offensive player. He draws those fouls too much. He needs to give him a little ground. They're going to penetrate on him.
So Rod Strickland back into the game. What's your feeling for what the Rockets are going to do now? They have until 3 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow afternoon. That's the trading deadline.
I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. I don't know if you can do anything because of the contracts and the money involved, but you don't know whether Bobby Sura is going to. You think he's coming back, but how long is his back going to last? I think they're going to try to make a move. Now, what move? I have no idea.
Duncan with the miss, and Mutombo is really doing a job on the board.
But sometimes you want to make a move, and the restraints are so great you just cannot make it.
Grady takes it inside. Massenberg with a foul, and T-Mac will shoot. Well, if you joined us late, they got good news on Bob Sura today. The doctor in L.A. who did the surgery on Bobby before the season said that he would be out anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks, but he's still got to get back in shape. So you're looking at possibly 3 weeks before he's ready to go again. And in the meantime, the Rockets have a brutal schedule.
Yeah, and so many of the games are on the road. And last night's game proved to you against Seattle. They played their hearts out. They did a great job. But at the end, they could not get themselves organized. They needed a point guard in the game. I think they want to do something, but wanting to and being able to execute because of the money restraints and just trading nowadays in the NBA is so difficult.
Rockets equal their largest lead of the game, 7 points. Massenberg to Duncan. Duncan, Mutombo going to give him a little room. You can't give him a lot because of that shot right there. But he uses the glass.
Yeah, great move, great shot. The good news for the Rockets, they've got a 5-point lead with Yao Ming having to sit out so long with 2 fouls because he's been a very good force lately.
Grady tries to use the glass, and it will not go. Kevin Brown in the corner, picked up by Strickland with a little help from Mutombo. Brown just dribbled it off his thigh. Duncan will use the glass again. You know, he went to both sides of the lane for the last 2 shots.
Yeah, with Mutombo guarding him, that's a tough matchup. He's just facing him up outside, and there's nothing he can do.
John Berry directing traffic. He wants Mutombo to get underneath the basket so he can give him the pass. He puts it up. Duncan with a foul. After Tim Duncan, that's his first foul of the game. We have a timeout on the court with 8:08 left to play in the second quarter. It's the Rockets up by 3 over the Spurs. Rockets 3-point lead, 8:08 left in the second period. The Rockets are firing up for their playoff drive, and you can guarantee your rights to a playoff seat with the purchase of a 6-game regular season mini plan. Great games are still available, including the Heat, the Mavs, and the Cavs, and it's only available by calling a ticket rep at 713-627-DUMP. Right now, the Heat are suffering a little bit. Shaquille O'Neal is banged up. He is not playing tonight, but Dirk is playing, and LeBron will be in town, so you don't want to miss that. You know, this season, the Spurs play the best defense in the league. We've talked about it, but they don't necessarily like it when they have it played against them. And there, as you see, the Spurs this season, the 2 best efforts against San Antonio defensively, it's been the Houston Rockets.
Yes, and why is that true? Why is the Rockets so good defensively against the Spurs? Jeff does not allow all of that penetration that they normally do. They do not let Parker get in the lanes. And tonight, outside of the first 4 minutes, he got into the lane early. Van Gundy stopped that. Nobody's in the lane now. They're making them shoot outside shot. And now we'll have the return of the big man.
Yeah, Yao Ming will come in, but what a great job for Dikembe Mutombo. He played 11 minutes when Yao went out with his second foul, and he had 6 rebounds. He really clogged up that middle.
And that's one of the things I think the Rockets do well against this team. They're able to do that and clog up the middle and stop them from scoring inside.
All right, now Yao will have to wait because Mutombo has free throws. Clarence Weatherspoon has come into the game.
You know, Coach uses Clarence Weatherspoon some on back-to-backs. I've noticed that in the Boston-Philadelphia series. He comes up, he plays last night. We play in Houston. I think it's a tremendous effort tonight after the disappointing loss last night. Weatherspoon comes in and gives them some rebounds.
Mutombo hits both free throws for Houston, and the Rockets bump it up to a 5-point lead. Rockets are 9 of 10 from the free throw line. San Antonio 4 of 7. Devin Brown, and I think Mutombo is laying for him. Here's John Barry on the drive. John Barry with a hook shot. Devin Brown will get it up the court to Duncan, and a good job by Weatherspoon.
When Weatherspoon guards the power forwards, he's shorter than they are, but he does a good job of going around and stealing the ball.
Yao just came in for Deke, and you know what Mutombo told him on the way out? No foul.
No foul.
No fouls. He just a little reminder to Yao. There he goes into the hook pass. Now, we've seen a lot of outstanding passing and sensational by the Berries because they're known for that. And they have a little flair in their game, don't they? Brent and older brother John.
That's because they're confident. You don't meet two guys playing this game has any more confidence than those two guys. They think they can make any shot, any pass, any time.
And Nastarovich checks back into the game from Massenburg. There are 2 other Berries, too, Drew and Scooter. And they are not playing anymore. Brown takes it in, and Weatherspoon with a rejection. He not only rejected the ball, he rejected Devin Brown.
Yeah, Brown will think about going in there on Weatherspoon again because when he met him, he said, no more, no easy shots. Watch him. He came over, the enforcer.
Coach, this is a young man that played here in San Antonio for the University of Texas at San Antonio, the Roadrunners. And he had a pretty good collegiate career, and they picked him up as a free agent and put him in their Rocky Mountain Review League, their summer league, and he has really developed into a nice player.
I think I scrimmaged against him over here when we had the 02 World Games team. We scrimmaged their college team. I think we played them really tough, but we might have had a few refereeing breaks that day. I did pick the refs for that scrimmage.
Oh, well, of course, if you pick the refs and you don't win, shame on you.
Well, you got to do anything to give your team confidence. Just remember that.
3 seconds, down to 2. McGrady. Oh, same spot he hit the game winner against him in game 1 when he had the 13 points in 35 seconds.
That was pretty good defense by Barry. Great shot.
And it's 35-28 Houston. Again, a 7-point lead by the Rockets. Duncan trying to take it in on Yao Ming, and Yao had to back away.
But did you see the reverse pivot for a guy like that? That is smooth. You can't really appreciate him sometimes just watching him on television. You can to a degree.
Nastarovich just picked up his 3rd foul.
Watch him now. Look at it. Reverse pivot, go across, jump up, shoot it left-handed.
There's not a weakness in his game. And every year when I get the MVP ballot, I put Tim Duncan. I don't even have to think about it. If I had to pick one player, that's him right there.
Do I get a vote for MVP in this job, or no, you just the one person?
No.
I just wondered.
Just giving you my opinion.
No, I'm talking about at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yao Ming jumps it up. Now, who would you vote for?
Right now, it'd be close between Timmy and Tracy McGrady.
Okay. You don't think the young guard in Phoenix?
But right now he's got a lot of help.
Good defense by Strickland. Barry takes it in, tries to draw a foul. Massenburg gets the rebound. And the foul is called on Rod Strickland.
I think in the NBA, let's look at it at call after call. All you got to do, if you want 2 free throws, just holler out to the ref. You don't have to be shooting. Just say, hey, ref, I was thinking about shooting.
Tony Massenburg, in his 13th year out of Maryland, one of 2 NBA players in NBA history to play for 12 different teams. The other is Chucky Brown, and they both played for Houston at one time. One of their many stops. In fact, Chucky won a ring with Houston in that first championship team in 1994. 37-32. T-Mac. Short. And look at him hustle and follow it up. Takes it back inside with a reversal. Missed it. Clarence Weatherspoon missed the tip. And Massenburg gets the rebound. Brent Berry will bring it up.
The transition defense, you're asking why they're so good. They don't give up any easy baskets to the Spurs.
Greg Popovich calls a timeout with 5:43 left to play in the second period. And the Rockets are taking it to San Antonio. (37-32) Houston. Hey, you still got your jump shot, coach? Well, on April the 2nd and 3rd, the entire Toyota Center block welcomes Street Ball Heaven for the big black top title, and it's presented by Amerigroup. Pick up an entry form at your local academy or 24-hour fitness location. Visit Rockets.com or call 713-758-7214 for all the details. The big black top battle presented by Amerigroup.
Is that just shooting? If I don't have to move, I'm going to enter that contest. I'm going to be there. If you do that, I can shoot as well as Juwan Howard if I don't have to move and nobody's guarding me.
Well, that's tonight's Polaroid picture-perfect shot.
See that little spin move? Juwan, you're really honored. We don't usually feature anything but dunks on this show, buddy. We had a little jump shot here besides Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. I want to go back to that MVP just a minute. I think it's according to how your team does. And when I look at that, it's according to what Tracy does as far as this Rocket team the rest of the way. Can it finish 5th or 6th in this division, get in the playoffs, or what's going to happen to Bobby? If Tim Duncan keeps on this pace, I think you have to consider Tim Duncan because he's leading his team to new heights.
Yeah, but that man right there, he has really taken his game to another level. When you talk to the other coaches in the league, they said, Tracy McGrady was a great player when the Rockets traded for him. But Jeff Van Gundy, for some reason, he and Tracy are on the same wavelength, and he has picked his game up a whole nother level under Van Gundy.
See, what they do is he brings in a list after every game of how he's doing, and Tracy has really responded to Jeff's coaching of what you did good, what you did bad.
Boy, Duncan he almost had a turnover, so he said, I'm not going to pass it to anybody. He's got 14 points. Weatherspoon, Strickland looking down to Yao Ming. He's got Duncan behind him now. Nastarovich is in foul trouble trying to guard Yao. There's a blocked shot by Duncan. Yao thought he was fouled, and I do too. I don't think Duncan got the ball. I think he got the arm.
I think he got the wrist. He got the arm a little bit. You'll see it right now, but this is the versatility. See him step up.
Yeah.
Yes, foul all the way. But say this about Duncan. 1 minute you're guarding a power forward. 1 minute you're guarding a power player.
There's another block inside. Sets up a fast break. Ginobili couldn't handle a return pass from Parker. Brown from the deep corner misses, and the rebound to Massenburg. And a steal by John Barry. David Wesley picked up by Parker now. Yao Ming with good position on Massenburg. He should take him to the basket. Turns inside, puts up a crazy hook shot, off balance. Almost went in.
But you got to get back because San Antonio, they're considered a half-court team, but they're really running the ball tonight.
That's why they're a lot of people's favorite to win it all this year, because you have to become a pretty good half-court team to win an NBA championship.
They can do it all. They can play full court, half court. They can play any way you want to. Ask the Phoenix Suns.
That's right. They slow it down if need be, and if you have to speed it up, they've defeated the Suns at their own game. So a timeout taken by the Rockets. 4:11 left to play in the first half, and it's the Rockets up by 3. Rockets up by 3 in the second quarter. Well, Rockets fans, we want you to get out to the Toyota Center, purchase a ticket, because you could get a free Big Mac. And the way it works is if the Rockets win and score 100 points or hold their opponent under 80, you can redeem your ticket stub for a free Big Mac the following day. McDonald's and the Rockets, and everybody's loving it. Well, the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo just ended here in San Antonio. It goes on for over almost 3 weeks. This building was built, it was a cooperative effort between the Rodeo Association and the San Antonio Spurs, and that's why they have so many livestock buildings that go on and on and on outside of this building here, and they had their World Championship Rodeo, and every year San Antonio takes a 21-day road trip during the rodeo, and the Spurs went 5-2 on their rodeo road trip this year. And Popovich has said before that he's used it as a bonding for his team, Coach.
Yeah, and you can see that. He has a great relationship with his players, Tony Parker. They've gone through some tough times till lately, but that's the coach trying to get his point guard to be a coach on the floor for him. Right now they got 6 coming out. Only 5 are allowed to play in this game, guys.
Well, he said he was awfully tough on Parker because he's tough on point guard. Manu Ginobili, he said he had to release the reins on Manu a little bit and let him play like Manu. He didn't want him to be too conservative. There's Yao Ming out on the post to John Barry. Barry, nice pass to Yao. Yao is fouled. It counts. What a play, and a great reaction by Yao Ming. He stopped on a dime. Massenberg is called for the foul, and he was able to get it up and in anyway. P.J. Carlissimo is up barking at the officials along with Greg Popovich. Look at this play again, Coach.
Against this zone, they run a little screen and roll. What San Antonio is hollering about from their bench, they think he walked on it, but he finally, needs to get a call every now and then.
So Yao Ming with 5 points. The three-point play the old-fashioned way. Under 4 minutes left. There's Ginobili cutting through a double team. Parker just inside the three-point line short, and Duncan gets it back. Those medium range rebounds, those are the ones Bob Sura used to gobble up.
And that's where I think you miss him in so many ways. His hard-nosed, his ability to get to the basket, but the long rebound.
Bowen with the miss. Ginobili tips it to Yao. And it's loose. And Parker knocks Barry to the turf. Parker back the other way. Parker to the basket. Runs right into Yao Ming. And a foul is called on Tracy McGrady. That's his second foul of the game. That is the 5th team foul on the Rockets, so the Spurs will shoot.
And so often the question is, do you take out Tracy McGrady with 3:21 in the half with 2 fouls? If it's a veteran player that's smart, you let him play. I think they'll probably go another minute and a half with him and then put Ryan Bowen in.
Parker gets the roll. San Antonio now 9 of 13 from the line. Houston 10 of 11. Rockets lead us at 4. Barry pops out with Ginobili giving him a lot of room. T-Mac coming off a pick, takes it to the middle, goes behind the back, and it's off the feet of Yao Ming.
See, but the little screen and roll play where Tracy is curling, San Antonio is really struggling to try to stop that. He's doing a wonderful job of executing.
And an offensive foul on Manu Ginobili, and he better look out or he's going to get a tee. That's the second foul on Ginobili. Both teams are in the penalty with 2:48 left to play. T-Mac back outside. Weatherspoon with an 18-footer, and he missed the whole works. Duncan giving it up to Parker for a layup.
You've got to be ready for that give and go. Parker is so quick. Duncan is such an unselfish player. Tremendous passer.
And it's a 2-point lead now by Houston. Wesley over to Yao. Yao turns in one move over Massenberg for 2. And Yao Ming continues with 9 points. He had 30 last night against Seattle.
Massenberg is not big enough. Yao can just shoot over him. He shoots just like he's not there.
Good pick up on Parker. Duncan taking it in on Yao. Missed it. Yao was able to back up a little bit and force a bad shot. Wesley takes it to the basket, throws it outside. Saved by T-Mac. Wesley on the drive, and another save by John, but no, he couldn't save it. Bad pass. turnovers by the Rockets, 8 turnovers by San Antonio.
You'll give the Rockets credit for coming in here tonight and competing, playing with all their heart, doing everything that you want to do, giving all this effort, playing and having a lead over, an outstanding team that they've been rested. You can say, well, we beat them last time with a back-to-back. Well, tonight we're the ones that's played the back-to-back. They've been resting ever since the All-Star game.
Yeah, this is a great effort by the Rockets so far in this game. Duncan taking it in on Dikembe Mutombo, and a foul is called on Duncan, and Duncan's going to get a tee. And that's highly unusual that he reacts that way, but he got that foul on purpose so he could get in a word to the officials.
I knew coming out of there, I've had this guy ripping before. I knew there was going to be. I knew that was tea time all the way. He thinks he got fouled there. He goes over. You got to give a guy like Tim Duncan, who very seldom says anything, just a little room.
He gets enough.
Okay, maybe he does. I know you think so.
Well, and deservedly so. He's one of the top players in the league, so he gets a little leeway. But he hardly ever says anything to the officials, and that's why a technical on Duncan is highly unusual. You had Ed Malloy in the WNBA?
Don't even bring it up.
Oh.
I knew he was going to get a technical just as soon as I saw him come out of there.
How many did he give you?
He threw me out of a game one time.
He threw you out of a game?
Yeah, mild-mannered Van Chancellor, who never says very much to refs.
Well, somebody picked Betty up off the couch. She just fell on the floor after hearing that.
Oh.
I've seen you in action, Coach. Mild-mannered wouldn't be one of the descriptions. So the Rockets make the technical plus the 2 free throws by Juwan Howard. And it's 45-38. Back to a 7-point lead by Houston. That equals the largest lead of the game for the Rockets. 120-119 and counting. Super defense. Rose has to back up. 5 down to 4. Ginobili puts up a hurried shot, and he makes it. Now, for the most part, they've done a pretty good job on him. He's 9 points.
Tremendous defense by the Rockets. He just made a great shot. But you think about a great team in San Antonio. The Rockets have 45 points so far.
Wesley gets a nice pick. Sets him up for the jump shot. Too hard. Ball is loose. Ginobili in the open court. He's got Parker on the wing. Gives it up to Tony. Tony with a reversal for 2. 4 quick points by San Antonio. And it's a 3-point Houston lead. And Jeff Van Gundy wants a 20-second timeout. This 20-second timeout brought to you by Deja Blue, the official bottled water of the Houston Rockets.
You'll see tremendous execution right here by San Antonio. When they run the break, they give up the ball at the right time. Then Parker uses the rim to keep Tracy from blocking it, taking it to the basket. Watch the penetration. There comes Barry Howard over. And they do such a good job of running the break.
Now, you have said this all season long that you think the Houston Rockets use the 20-second timeout, or Jeff Van Gundy uses the 20-second timeout better than any coach in the league.
And there's no doubt in my mind he uses it at the right time. You say, why take it with 37 seconds? Okay, Jim's doing this now. He's setting up what they want to do. They can get a 2-for-1. They can run the clock down. But what he does best is take a timeout right now and run a particular play. Not just anybody's about to get this shot. The first option right now is going to be Tracy McGrady either using a screen on a low post or a pop-out. Then after that, David Wesley will get the next opportunity to shoot it.
All right, so T-Mac will bring the ball in. As you saw that graphic just a moment ago, the Rockets 29% shooting in the second quarter. Well, Tracy gets it in to Juwan Howard. Good pressure by San Antonio. Down to 13 on the shot clock. Barry didn't have the spacing there, and it's knocked out of bounds by Houston.
Why couldn't the Rockets execute it? Defensive pressure. I'll tell you that right now. Get Tracy out of the game with 2 fouls. Bring in Ryan Bowen. Don't get it here late. Spurs counter now by putting nothing but shooters in the game, and they're going to run basically 4 out and run Tim Duncan inside and run the shot clock down.
All right, Barrett will come in too, so Barry and McGrady will go out. There's a difference of 2 seconds on the shot clock and the game clock. The Spurs could run it all the way down to about 2 seconds.
I think they will run it all the way down and then penetrate and kick to somebody for the three-point shot.
They're going to try to tie the game here at the buzzer. Parker now with 6 seconds left on the shot clock will put it in play. Takes it inside with a miss. Mutombo with a rebound. And the Rockets will get a long shot from Barrett. And it misses everything, but you got to hand it to the Houston Rockets. They have come in here after a disappointing loss to the Seattle Sonics last night in Houston, and they have played the Spurs right out of their sneakers here in the first half. It's the Rockets 45, the Spurs 42. Stay with us. Tonight's Toyota Power Team halftime report comes your way after the break. Welcome back to the SBC Center in San Antonio, where the Rockets lead it here at halftime by 3, 45-42. Really a courageous effort, I think, by Houston so far in this game after playing a tough one last night.
A lot of character, a lot of effort. It's unbelievable what they're doing right here tonight after losing that game, playing so tough.
Juwan Howard with a great first half, 12 points.
5 out of 7, you see him do it all. He shoots his little jump shot from outside, and then he goes on a low block, spins, and uses his jump hook. You have 12 points. He's been the difference, I thought, in the first half for the Rockets.
Yeah, because he's really made Tim Duncan play him honestly, but of course Duncan with 14 points, he's the same old Timmy.
Yeah, every time what you see at Tim Duncan's what you get every night. One of the most consistent players in this league. He's the kind of player that can do it all. He plays defense, he blocks shots, he rebounds. But what I like about him is his versatility to be able to carry it to the hole against big guys. Then he steps out when you put Mutombo on him and shoots it from outside. What's that move? Going with his left hand, he can do it all. No one can do more than he can do for his team than Tim Duncan here in San Antonio.
Can the Rockets win this game here tonight?
No doubt in my mind, because they've got whatever you want to call, whatever you call it in athletics. They have that's character, the ability to win regardless of the situation.
Here we go now. The Rockets, of course, won the 2 in Houston. San Antonio would like to return the favor, but the Spurs are trailing here at halftime. We'll be back with the second half. Here tonight's Bud Light first half stats. Both teams playing good defense as we expected. They're getting to the free throw line quite a bit. And the rebounding, the Rockets with an edge. And so the Rockets also with an edge on the scoreboard by 3. Let's go to halftime and see what Jeff Hagedorn's got for us at the baseline.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. I'm here with assistant head coach Tom Thibodeau. Pretty solid first half effort by your ball club. What'd you like, and what adjustments need to be made?
Well, the first quarter we got off to a good start because we were moving the ball, and we loosened up their defense with some hard cuts and good screens. And with their defense being as tough as it is, that's what you have to do. So scoring 26 points, that was a big factor. And then Dikembe, of course, came off the bench, and he gave us a huge lift defensively and rebounding-wise. So the rebounding was good. The defense initially was good in shutting the lane down, but then Duncan, with his post-ups, he's facing us up, and when he faces us up, we have to take his airspace away, and then when he puts it on the floor, we have to give the appropriate help. And, of course, Parker hurt us with penetration off pick and rolls, so when we trap the pick and rolls, we have to trap him harder so he doesn't get around the big. And he made some corner passes that normally are threes for them that we have to take that away from them also. So that and our rebounding has to continue to be strong.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That's assistant head coach Tom Thibodeau. Back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jeff. And, of course, Van Chancellor, there's so many holes to plug up with these pro teams because they're so good. They have so many good players.
And what you have to do is just try to limit what each player must do for your team or the other team.
T-Mac left wide open for a 3, so you know that's a mistake. You see Parker and Ginobili kind of arguing among one another who should have picked up T-Mac then.
But when in doubt, that's the one player you pick up if you leave the other 4 wide open.
I would think so. Oh, great pass and a foul by Juwan Howard. Nesterovic will have to earn it from the free throw line. That Ginobili fired a bullet.
Yeah, but excuse me, Bill, I like to. That was a good foul because the big man for them is shooting less than 50%. Make him earn it.
Yes, he is. As we take a look at Nesterovich, 48% from the free throw line. So that's Juwan Howard knowing the scouting report, knowing who to foul, who not.
Yeah, and on that shot, it looked like that he had no prayer making that free throw. No wonder he's shooting less than 50%.
Nesterovich is a rebounder and a shot blocker. He is a role player for San Antonio. Does not score a lot of points in this game. He has 2 tonight. He had 3 in game 1, and he scored 3 in game 2. And he missed that one, and Duncan got the inside position on Yao Ming, and that is a big mistake.
When the other team misses 2 free throws, you got to find your way to get the rebound.
Parker takes a little tour through the lane, back outside to Duncan. Duncan will shoot it over Yao, missed it, and the Rockets got a break there. 48-42, Houston. T-Mac steps back out. Bowen tries to stay with him. Down to great move on Duncan by Yao Ming. Oh, man. He left Duncan like he was standing in cement. And Duncan says, let me return the favor.
What 2 great plays. Duncan, Yao Ming. Did you see that little spin move Yao Ming made and went to the basket?
And back to T-Mac now. Tracy working on Bowen. Gets a step on the baseline. T-Mac to the rack. Two spectacular moves by the superstars for Houston. Bowen with a hard drive to his left. That's the first basket of the game for Bowen. Down to Yao Ming. Takes it inside on Nesterovich. No whistle. Little contact. Devin Brown back the other way. Devin Brown to the basket for 2 and possibly 3.
Bill Pop wanted to bring out the Notley to show him something. He puts Brown in just to talk to his starter for 30 seconds. What does the guy do? Goes in, scores a basket, now goes to the free throw line.
Well, Brown coming right in here now. He was the all-time leading scorer at the University of Texas San Antonio, and he went to high school here in San Antonio at West Campus High School. So here's a young man who hasn't left the city of San Antonio.
Yet he said, don't anybody foul because I'll have to come out of the game. As long as nobody fouls, I'll get to stay in the game.
52-49 Rockets. T-Mac to the rack. And Yao tipped it outside. Back to Strickland again. Strickland with a tough jump shot. Won't go. Tipped up. And Duncan's got it. Parker quickly to Bowen. Over to Brown. Brown again inside. Brown misses. Yao tips it over to Strickland. Tracy. And Nesterovich knocked it out of bounds. Rockets will have the basketball.
What an entertaining game tonight. Both teams up and down. What play.
Washington has defeated Memphis. That's a big win for Houston here tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies right on the heels of the Rockets losing to the Washington Wizards. So the Rockets get a win here tonight. They pick up a full game on Memphis.
Yes, and they pick up a game against a team many other teams beat. That means you've definitely picked up the game.
Tough shot. Duncan flashed out. Got a hand in his face. Bruce Bowen back the other way to Ginobili. Duncan really battling with Juwan Howard. Back to Ginobili again. Right back inside again. And Duncan had to throw it up. And Nesterovich. Yao Ming just didn't react at all. And Nesterovich picked that ball out of the air and put it in.
That was a luck play. That wasn't an alert play. That was just the ball fell up in the air and hit in somebody's hand.
Yeah, that's knocked away, and Tracy has it with 9 on the shot clock. T-Mac, a three-pointer, short, tipped outside. Wesley gets it. Yao Ming effectively tipped that ball to David. Now Yao goes back on the attack. Over to Nesterovich. Nope, he gets a double team. And a pull down by Nesterovich. That was a good old wrestling move there. Step over toe hold.
Oh, yes, but hey, it's a foul. It's going to take him out of the basketball game. I think that the Rockies now can go inside to Yao Ming. Massenberg has to come in.
And Massenburg, coach, is 6'9". So he's given up about, 8 or 9 inches.
Yeah, this is the time I think that you can take a look, go inside, get David Wesley on Yao Ming's side and see if you can get him inside.
Oh, T-Mac goes in the back door, and Wesley found him. You do not do that to the Spurs very often. They're a good weak side team.
Yes, they didn't help out. Boyd did not get any help, so Tracy got a layup.
54-51 Rockets. Duncan sets the pick. Parker tries to get it back to Duncan. He does. Blocked by Yao Ming. And Wesley tips it away. Wesley will fire up a three. And the Rockets get a great defensive play from Yao. And a three-pointer from David Wesley. And bump that lead back 57-51. And a timeout taken by San Antonio. Every time the Spurs make a move, the Rockets come right back. 7:22 left in the third quarter. (57-51) the Houston Rockets, and the San Antonio Spurs came out hot, but the Rockets answered every move, Coach. They've been able to get it done, first with Yao Ming.
You watch that little spin move, then here comes Duncan inside, then Tracy McGrady, 3 superstars making it happen. But now, Rockets have outscored the Spurs 12-9 and played about 4 or 5 minutes. That's production for a quarter from both teams.
Really is. Juwan Howard with 12, Tracy McGrady with 16, Yao Ming with 11, David Wesley with 9. For San Antonio, Duncan has 16 and Parker with 10. So the Rockets have done a pretty good job on Manu Ginobili tonight. They've held him down to 9 points. I wonder where Robert Horry is. And Beno Udrich, who was one of the outstanding young players for Popovich in the first half, we have not seen him tonight.
It's surprising that usually against the Rockets, Robert Horry plays and plays well. He lives there, played for the Rockets. He wants to light them up.
And Udrich, one of the outstanding. In fact, he was a Rookie Player of the Month in December for San Antonio. And he played against Houston in those 2 losses in Toyota Center. Alley-oop backdoor, and Yao Ming is there, and Duncan says it doesn't make any difference. Foul is called on Yao Ming, his 3rd foul of the game. Well, he was there initially, but he didn't stay after him.
Yes, but that was a tremendous play by San Antonio. They faked out with him, Duncan, like they were going to run a little screen play, and he backdoors, catches it. Look at that left-hand shot. What can the guy not do?
He's incredible, and he completes a 3-point play the old-fashioned way, and it's 57-54.
You know, every time the Spurs get close enough, the Rockets find a way to stop it, make a play, get the job done.
Grady pops out, gets the ball, got Bowen right in his hip pocket. T-Mac, Strickland down to Yao Ming, turns all in one motion. Boy, he's got that shot down now, and there's no way they can stop it. Yao Ming with 13 points. For to Tony Parker. Duncan sets that pick. You've got to stay with him all the way. Yao picks him up, but not close enough. Does he ever miss that shot?
Yeah, I think the coach wanted Strickland to double him. I'm surprised that the Spurs do not double Yao Ming inside with Parker and let Strickland beat him from outside.
That's 21 points for Duncan now. As T-Mac turns the corner, misses, ball is loose, and Bruce Bowen runs it down. Gets it up quickly to Tony Parker. Spurs trailing by 3. Right back to Duncan again. Duncan takes it to the middle. Duncan tries to roll it up with the left hand, and the foul is called. You see Juwan Howard put his hand up in a hurry, but they're going to... He was trying to help out Yao Ming, but the foul is called on Yao.
I think that we talk about officiating in this league, that so often that foul is given to Juwan Howard. You see him go across, you see Yao take the foul, but it doesn't make no difference who takes the foul. Sometimes that is given to number 5, not number 11.
Well, that's the 4th foul on Yao Ming, and he will have to come out of the game. And Duncan at the free throw line.
We have talked at times about Tracy McGrady putting his will on a game and affecting its outcome. Looks like to me that's what Tim Duncan is doing at this particular time, saying, hey, Give me the basketball. I'll care give me the shot.
And there are a handful of players who can do that, right?
Very few. There are about a dozen of them who think they can, but they can't.
Rockets, of course, remember the days of Akeem Olajuwon when he was able to do that, carry you for the entire game, or at least get to a portion of the game and carry you to a victory. Rockets now down to a 1-point lead. Juwan Howard gives it up to Strickland. Shot clock is at 7 seconds, and a foul is called on Parker. Louis Griot was quick to point out the first foul was on Parker and then a retaliation by Strickland, but he called the first foul. So that is the second team foul on the Spurs. The Rockets have 4 team fouls. McGrady really comes off that pitch by Juwan, but he missed the shot. McGrady now 5 of 15. Parker in a hurry. Parker to the basket. Jeff Van Gundy wants to call a timeout, but for the first time in a long time, the Spurs have taken the lead. 5.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter, and this crowd finally is able to get into the game. San Antonio on a 9-2 run, the last minute 43. Time to check in on tonight's AIG Big Man Watch. Yao Ming with 13-2-4. Washo Nesterovic with 4-2-4. Well, there's another big man getting ready to dress up in a tuxedo. Jeff Hagedorn will tell you all about that.
That's right, Bill. It's that time of year again. The Clutch City Foundation's Tux and Tennies Charity Gala is scheduled for a week from Thursday, March 3rd at Toyota Center, and proceeds this year will benefit the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation and its primary initiative to build the Biamba Marie Mutombo Hospital, a 300-bed teaching hospital in Kinshasa, the capital city of the Congo. Former President Bush is going to be the keynote speaker. Entertainment provided by Kool and the Gang. You want to be there. For more information, visit Rockets.com or call 713-627-DUNK. That's 713-627-3865. Have you two been fitted for your tuxes yet?
I got my tux in my car. I can't wait to listen to the Kool in the Gang.
All right, what's their biggest hit, Coach?
I didn't even know. I don't have any idea. Do they play oldies but goldies, like a whole lot of shaking going on?
That's the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and formerly Zaire, and where that hospital will be located. And boy, what a great bunch of work that Dikembe Mutombo has done over the years for that hospital. Well, here we go now. The Rockets have to answer the challenge. A 9-2 run by San Antonio. Rockets got a timeout. McGrady gets a double team. Back to Wesley. Good fake on Manu Ginobili. And David Wesley gives the lead back to Houston. That was a big bucket there.
That momentum is going to the Spurs. Rockets call a timeout, come out of it, get a basket, retain the lead. That kind of keeps you feeling good about yourself.
4 Rockets in double figures now as Wesley goes to 11. Duncan takes it inside. He was falling down and got the call anyway. And the foul is on Mutombo. I thought, okay, let's see again here. Okay, he leaned on his shoulder.
Yeah, he fouled him all the way from start to finish. Yeah, you got to make him go to the free throw line. He fouled him at the start of the play, the middle of the play, and at the end of the play. And now he's griping the whole time like it. And most players don't think they ever commit a foul.
Well, the folks that were here for the rodeo probably remember that little move. That's a good old bulldog steer wrestling.
But don't we have what a game here tonight? I am so impressed with what the Rockets are doing right now without Bobby Sura, playing so well, tied up game.
Duncan's perfect from the line. 7 of 7 for Timmy. From the free throw line, he has 25 points. And again, the lead goes back to the Spurs by 1. T-Mac. And Ginobili knocks it out of bounds. That guy will throw his body around.
Angeles, and he plays with reckless abandon. He feels confident. He's an all-star. He's saying, I can make any play on either end.
He's physical, but he said his two older brothers in Argentina, he was coached by his father. It was a family affair down there, and he said his two older brothers just beat him up. 6 seconds, and a foul is called on Bruce Bowen. And he was so emphatic about the call, I think Popovich was going to argue about it, but Louis Grillo, he was.
I'm going to ask you this question. Why you got to be that emphatic about making a call? Don't try to sell the call, make it.
Well, there's 5 team fouls on the Rockets, only the 3rd team foul on San Antonio. And Strickland will bring it in with 14 on the shot clock. T-Mac takes it through the lane, back to Juwan Howard for the jumper, and again the Rockets regain the lead. So the lead going back and forth now with each made basket. Juwan Howard with 14 points.
Juwan's been able to hit that shot when they double inside. Timmy Duncan and Rose are trying to double, but he's hitting the shot.
Good cutoff by Strickland, and we're going to have a whistle on Wesley. So with each foul by Houston, the Spurs will get free throws. That's the 3rd foul on David. 3 fouls on Wesley, 4 on Yao, 2 apiece on McGrady and Howard. And Manu Ginobili will be at the line.
Shooting better than 80%, almost 82%.
Ginobili, the most popular athlete in Argentina now. They say he can't go anywhere. And that's pretty amazing considering you got football, they call it down there, soccer. And he led Argentina's upset of the United States team in the semifinals of the 2002 World Championships in Indianapolis. Then he got hurt, and they lost in the final game, but they made up for it in the Olympics, didn't they, Coach?
Yeah. And shooting the 3-ball. When they leave the bus and come in the gym, they think they can shoot it and make it.
McGrady gets open for a jumper. He misses. Mutombo goes high for the rebound. Puts it back. Misses. Tipped outside to Wesley. Don't miss this one, David, but he does. So the Rockets miss 3 in a row.
3 good looks at the basket. That's all you can hope for.
Spurs lead by a point. Ginobili goes to his left. Knocked out of bounds by Houston. Wait a minute. And Grillo comes all the way across court to call a foul on David Wesley. How did he see that?
Well, he's got X-ray vision. He could see through 3 people make the call. But let me say this. He's selling the calls. I'll give him credit. Now watch this. Coming across. David slaps him across. Sometimes that's a foul. Sometimes that's all ball.
Official at the baseline closest to the play did not make a call. Ginobili with the miss. I thought, when you talk to most of the coaches, they'll tell you Ginobili's the biggest steal in the league. He got a contract, but compared to the contracts around the league, they think he's a steal.
Whatever he's making is worth it because he can hit the outside shot. He can carry it to the basket. When you got a player that can do that, and he plays hard.
All right, it's a 2-point lead now by San Antonio. Rockets really need a basket. And Strickland not being a threat to shoot, they're really jumping off of him, aren't they?
Yeah, they're giving him every opportunity to carry it to the hole, shoot it from outside. And I was talking to the coaching staff, Jeff and all of them. They were saying before the game, they've got to get the point guards, they've got to be able to step up and shoot the ball.
John Barry in the game. Looking down to Juwan Howard, and there's Manu Ginobili with his 4th steal. Cut off nicely. It's San Antonio with 3:07 left in the quarter.
Excuse me, Bill, but you see how the Spurs, they try to run. If they don't have it, they have tremendous discipline. They come back and run a half-court offense.
Parker to the basket. Out to Bowen from the deep corner. He misses. Ball is tipped up to Ginobili. And Barry with a steal. John Barry has to beat Bowen. Steps back. Now to T-Mac, and he's fouled on the play by Ginobili. Fast and furious action.
But what a game. I just feel so fortunate to be here watching it. Going up and down, one play after another. Watch Barry's hustle, ball fake, and then he sees the floor. Nobody can see the floor better than John Barry.
Of course, we pointed it out last night as T-Mac goes to the line for 2 free throws.
The Rockets are heading into the toughest part of their schedule this year. They'll have 27 games after tonight, and the majority of those are on the road. And they've got 3 left with Seattle, 3 left with Phoenix, 1 more with San Antonio here. They've got to go to Washington and Chicago, 2 of the toughest teams in the East, so it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, the thing about the trip east with Washington and Chicago, you got to play Washington in a back-to-back. They're young, they're energetic, they're playing well. That'll be a tough game.
Game tied at 65. Rose on the perimeter. Parker. Nice pickup. Defensively, down to 5, down to 4 on the shot clock. Rose puts it up and in. Malik Rose with 6 points. And the lead goes back to the Spurs by 2. Andre Barrett in the game for Houston. T-Mac waiting for a pick from Howard. Gets it. Gets a double team. Somebody's open. There it is. And a foul. And a pretty good foul by Devin Brown, because that was a dunk shot for Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes, and that was a good move. But in their rotation here, you'll see it. If they go out and they double Tracy, that then allows Howard open to rotate the basketball. If I'd have been the Spurs, I wouldn't have run over to Barrett. I'd have guarded Mutombo inside and let Barrett beat me from outside.
But that fake by Barry sold it, didn't it, John Barrett?
But that's what he does so well. His fake, the shot. If you have him, his ball fake, and then he's able to see out of the corner of his eye a teammate. Now here comes his brother in. His brother, I'm sure, is not too happy with his playing time tonight.
Well, Brent was the big free agent signing in the offseason, and everybody thought he was going to be the first off the bench for Greg Popovich, but it hasn't worked out that way. Barry really averages only about 13 to 15 minutes a game.
Brown has come in and going. He's played so well, it's hard to keep him out of the game. He's athletic. He can do so well. He can get to the hole.
Yeah, and Udrich has played very well, too. Beno Udrich. We haven't seen him tonight, but he's played well. Parker giving it up inside. And a missed shot. Tipped out and saved by Barrett, but he stumbled out of bounds. Looks like he hurt himself, Coach.
Yes, and that's the last thing the Rockets need, would be another point guard that would have to come out of the game because of injury. But I don't think he's going to get Barrett out. He's waiting on an opportunity. It's his. He's struggling a little bit. Looks like it's ankle a little.
1:35 and counting left to play. Parker gets it inside over Mutombo. Yeah, I think Barrett's hurt. He went by him in a hurry.
Yes, the development of Parker is just unbelievable. What he's doing, how smart he's playing for this team.
Parker with 14 now. T-Mac. Back to Mutombo. Juwan walks it inside. Has to get out of the lane. I saw that coming. Steal by Parker.
Tremendous anticipation by Parker as he saw the play. It was telegraphed. Rockets had to take a timeout.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs unofficially with 7 steals in this game, and a 20-second timeout taken by Jeff Van Gundy. And as always, brought to you by Deja Blue, the official bottled water of the Houston Rockets. I've got Ginobili with 4 and Parker with 3, so those 2 guys have been picking pockets.
And why they do that so well, they have tremendous anticipation. As you see the ball at any time, you've got to watch it. See the little ball fake? The combo telegraphed that pass, and then there's Parker just stepping inside. Players with that athletic ability, they're always anticipating where you're going to pass the basketball. I mean, I don't know, as you watch Parker make the layup, I don't know how much longer Coach Van Gundy can keep Yao Ming out of the game. I know you say he's got 4 fouls, but you cannot let the game get away from you before you get him back in, especially to start the 4th quarter.
Well, we have a minute 1 left to play in the 3rd, so possibly he'll start him in the 4th.
You were right with Barrett. He takes Barrett out and brings in Rod Strickland again, giving him a little breather. It's time to run a little play, maybe a high post pick and roll for Tracy, but somehow Tracy's going to be the player to bring the Rockets back with Yao Ming out of the game.
Strickland on the offense. Juwan Howard, and Rose backed off and let him go. A kick ball. San Antonio has it.
The Spurs now have scored on 10 of their last 11 possessions.
And they've done this with Tim Duncan out some. That's what's amazing. But they have so many players. Right now, Parker is a major problem for the Rockets with his penetration and being able to do things.
Rose and Berry with another steal. John Berry heads up here tonight.
Overpassing that time by the Spurs. Rose should have shot the ball.
23 seconds left to play. 14 on the shot clock. Rockets really need a basket here to close the quarter. Short arm shot by Juwan Howard. And the final shot will belong to San Antonio. 10 seconds and counting.
Is fatigue sitting in on the Rockets right now?
Could be, Coach. Parker leans in, throws it away again. And Berry will let the buzzer go off. So the San Antonio Spurs got some consistent scoring towards the end of that quarter, and here we go to the final 12 minutes. San Antonio leads it 71-66. Rockets trail by 5 going into the fourth and final quarter. For every fast break point the Rockets score this season, Break Check will donate $20 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Houston. Tonight, the Rockets have 5 fast break points. The total donation so far this season, $8,820. Well, how long has it been since Houston has won here in San Antonio? Jeff Hagedorn's going to tell us about it.
Well, Bill, the Rockets are trying to avoid their 14th consecutive loss here in San Antonio. Their last victory here came on April 20th of 1997. That game was played at the Alamo Dome. Check out the starting lineups for both teams in that ball game. Carl Herrera, the former Rocket, starting at forward for the Spurs alongside Dominique Wilkins, Greg Cadillac Anderson. Are you kidding me? Avery Johnson and Vinny Del Negro in there as well. As for the Rockets, 3 of the NBA's 50 all-time best in Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler, Eddie Johnson, and Matt Maloney rounding things out. Rockets won that game 103-99. That was the year that David Robinson was out with an injury. The Spurs went on to win the lottery. They drafted Tim Duncan #1, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, you're right about that, Jeff. And you see how history can change careers. What if Boston, who had the most losses, had won the ping pong ball and gotten Duncan? Rick Pitino would probably still be coaching in Boston. And I don't know if they'd have won the championships here or not. But that's how it goes, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah, if I'd have got the Ole Miss men's basketball coaching job in 1985, I'd have been fired in 90. So there's a lot of hills and lies, buddy. Let's go forward. Right now, the Rockets have only scored 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes. Somebody's got to score.
Well, the Rockets have the Spurs right where they want them, Coach. The Rockets trail going into the fourth quarter in the first 2 games. Massenberg, ball knocked out of bounds by Houston. Rockets trail by 4 going into the fourth quarter in the first game, trail by 3 going into the fourth in the second, and won both.
It's time for Tracy to step up, put his wheel onto this game, and get it done. Watch Barry coming off of this little screen off of his brother. He's looking to score on him.
7 seconds. Ginobili gets it outside, down to 5, down to 4. Duncan puts it up, misses. And Yao tips it, but he tips it to Massenberg, then he blocks it. Ball is loose, picked up by Strickland. Great job by Yao Ming underneath. I've got the strategy. Hold the Spurs to a 12-point lead with 35 seconds left and let Tracy go to work.
I don't believe we want to go quite that far tonight. I'd like to get it done a little earlier. You see them just jumping off of Strickland right now. They're just doubling Yao with him.
Yao with the left hand, off the glass. Great move, Yao Ming. 13 points. Rockets score first, 3-point game. Brent Berry along with Ginobili and Devin Brown. Brown wants to get it to Duncan. Good decision always. Duncan squares up. And Brent Berry. 3-pointer. He's got that quick little, he doesn't jump. It's that quick little push shot from the top.
He doesn't need any room. John was up on top of it and he just stuck it in his brother's eye and said, hey, I can make it.
I'm glad you said I. Here's John Berry now. Think he'll want to answer? Well, he does. Hey, brother against brother. This time John misses. These are 2 of the great competitors, the 2 Berry boys.
You ought to know they played in your backyard all the time.
You got that right. All 4 of them. And there's a behind the back by Ginobili. It's going to go all the way back. And he fell down and stepped on the baseline. Rockets get it back. Popovich used to really get upset with Manu, but he kind of lets him. There it is. He tried to get a little fancy. Now as he comes back to save it, well, look what happened.
Why didn't he just let it go out of bounds? It's off of Rocket's leg.
I don't know. And John takes it inside. Duncan with a block. And a technical foul is called on John Barry. Well, I don't know in this arena how in the world the referee heard anything John Barry may have said to him, but they're talking it over right now.
I thought this was ironic. His brother's shooting the technical.
Well, Duncan's over there to make sure. I don't know what Duncan's doing, but he's just listening in. Well, he missed the free throw. John says, see, I was right. Now Brent comes outside, right back to Duncan, to Manu Ginobili. And he throws it away. Weatherspoon, little contact with Ginobili at the top before the pass.
The Spurs have given the Rockets some opportunities. The Rockets have got to find some way to score.
12 turnovers by San Antonio. There's Yao. Boy, Massenberg had to try to tie him up. He pinned both arms to his side. Yao was going to get a dunk shot out of it, and now he'll get 2 free throws. Look at this move. Nifty, huh?
I thought you go up to the basket, watch it. That's ball fake. Massenberg said, where in the world did you go, Yao?
That's the same move that they fouled Yao out of the game on last night in Houston.
Oh, don't get on that call. That is pre-house. One of the 5 worst calls of the year. Ball. Yao goes back. He had a bailout. Yao dribbled it out of bounds. Give him the ball.
They could bring that up, and then Yao misses both free throws.
It looks like in a game of this nature, all points are precious.
Yes, they are. 74-68 now, and that's going to be another turnover. John got a hand in, and Brent. We got a little family feud going. Friendly. 74-68. Rockets have to score now. They go to T-Mac. Massenberg is fronting Yao Ming. Down to Yao. He cleared out Massenberg for an easy 2. Yao Ming scores. He's got 17. And it's a 4-point San Antonio lead. 9:07 left. Whistle underneath and a foul on Weatherspoon. That's the first team foul on the Rockets. Parker will check back into the game, and now Ginobili will get a breather. They are really deep in the backcourt, aren't they?
Very, very deep. When you can take out, put in Parker, bring out Ginobili, you got Brown, you got Barry playing. What a team.
That's why they've won the most games of any team in the league. They're the favorite to get to the finals out of the West. Parker takes it down to Duncan. And missed it. Weatherspoon saves it at the baseline. How did that ball come out? It was going down, and then it hit on the iron and just eased out of there. And Strickland now will set up the offense for Houston. Now sets him a pick. Gets it back. 18-footer. Yao Ming fills it up. 19 points for the Great Wall of Yao. 74-72. Good pickup by Weatherspoon. And Massenberg could not handle the pass. He was all alone underneath. That's another turnover, the 13th of the game for San Antonio. We have a timeout on the court, and your Rockets are battling back. There's no quitting these guys. Down by 2. Let's take a look at tonight's D.R. Horton game summary. And in the free throw department, look at the Spurs. Boy, they are making a living from that free throw line, Coach.
18 of 26.
And when you're shooting the ball, and for them, they are really satisfied with that possession in that case. But right now, Yao Ming has made 7 out of his last 8 shots. He's the guy you look at points in the paint. I think it's time for the Rockets to really look at getting him the ball, make the Spurs guard him right now.
Yeah, Yao now is up to close to over 55%, and that puts him at number 3 in field goal percentage. Shaquille O'Neal number 1, Amari Stoudemire number 2, and Yao Ming is number 3, and he should move up tonight the way he is shooting, but he's been shooting over 62% in the month of February.
Maybe it's an omen, Bill. They had 18,000 people here. They picked one guy out to do a little shooting contest at the break, little Dunkin' Donut deal. And listen, the guy won everything, so maybe the Rockets are going to come back and win.
They asked him where he was from. He said Houston.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that. Say there's 10 people from Houston here in the stands tonight, and they pick him.
You know, back in the old days when the Rockets defeated the Spurs in '95 in the Western Conference Finals, they were playing in the Alamo Dome, and with that big arena, a lot of Houston people packed that arena. I would venture to say anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 people came down I-10. All right, here we go now. Strickland will start the play in motion. Rockets down by 2, trying to tie or take the lead with a 3. John Barrett, they've been going to Yao Ming. Now they got Duncan on him. Timmy working on Yao. He picks out Strickland. They swing it around. T-Mac over to Yao, and Yao could not handle the pass. And here comes Brent Barrett. Gets it to Brown. Always looking for Duncan. Duncan wants to work on Yao. Yao with 4 fouls. And John Barry almost got another steal. And a hooking foul is called on Duncan. Good call. Both officials had the same call as Timmy wrapped his arm around Yao Ming. That's the 3rd foul on Tim Duncan.
Pops up saying that Yao's doing the same thing on the other end. I'm going to see if he gets a call here.
Well, they're both arguing for their superstars, both coaches. As well they should. T-Mac through the middle. Laid it up. Fast break. Parker to Brown. Brown, a blocking foul on Strickland.
You're talking about athletic ability. When you outlet the ball to Parker, he's able to make good decisions in the break. And then here comes Brown running. He's such a fast guy, quick guy. He can get to the basket.
And he's an 85% free throw shooter. Now, we got a problem. I say we, the Rockets.
Oh, yeah, well, that's we.
Point guards are both hurt. Did you see Strickland was limping? And already Barrett, see, he's got that left groin of his. He's got a wrap around his left leg. And he limps off the court. Sir, of course, can't play for another 2 weeks. And Barrett got hurt a minute ago. What's with that point guard position?
Bad luck right there. When you get people hurt at the same position, that's what's so devastating. Now this moves a little bit of Tracy to the point.
And that moves Wesley back into the game now, and T-Mac will go to the point. You're right. John Barry, 75-72. 3-point lead by San Antonio. 7 on the shot clock. Going to T-Mac. And he'll shoot it over Brent Barry. And it's a 1-point San Antonio lead. Tracy McGrady with 20 points. You thought last night when T-Mac had to go to point guard, it made it easier for Seattle to guard him.
Yes, but right now I think they're going to use him a little differently. They're going to let him handle the basketball and then rotate differently.
Starovich. One of his rare baskets. He's so conscious of Duncan, they overplayed him.
Yeah, but Yao's got to rotate over and take him and kind of play the little zone on the weak side.
And Starovich back in, leaning on Yao Ming. Yao takes it to the middle, shoots the jumper. In and out, won't go. Tough luck shot. Yao fell down. Got to get up. Parker's going to push it without Yao Ming down there. Back to Devin Brown. Shoots a 3, short. And Weatherspoon pulls it down. Quickly to John Barrett. Pace of the game is picked up. Barry with a crossover. Tries to get it to Yao Ming. Too difficult. This is going to be a Spurs fast break. Parker lays it up. Tracy McGrady. And knocked out of bounds by Barry. What a defensive effort by Tracy McGrady to get back on defense. Wow, what a game. Fast-paced action back and forth. We've got a timeout. Watch T-Mac go to the attack on defense.
This weekend, NASCAR moves to California, and our coverage begins on Friday with Nextel Cup practice and Craftsman Truck Series racing on Speed. Then Saturday, it's a Busch Series qualifying on Speed, followed by Nextel Cup qualifying, and then Busch Series racing on FX. Are you getting all this, Coach? Sunday begins with NASCAR this morning on Speed, leading up to the Auto Club 500 presented by Quaker State on Fox, and then NASCAR Victory Lane wraps up the entire weekend on Speed again. Our coverage of NASCAR continues this weekend across the Fox networks.
I just can't wait for that to take place.
I can tell. Now, that's all in California if it's not washed away.
Yes, but back to the game right now. In the last 5 minutes, San Antonio has 1 field goal, 1 free throw, and 5 turnovers. And what do you got for the Gatorade Endurance player is?
Well, it's going to be Rod Strickland because he's played 28 minutes, and that's most than he's played all year long, and he had to limp off the court. He has 4 points, 5 assists, but he's given it his all. Now, we understand Andre Barrett twisted his left ankle, but he can come back if they need him. But it looks like they're going to go with Wesley, Berry, McGrady, along with Yao and Juwan Howard. Now, what does this do offensively for Houston without a pure point guard in there?
But I think a little bit it's going to make them, they're going to alternate between Barry and Wesley, and it's according to who's in the game and who's defending who, is who's going to handle the ball. Now it's going to be Barry. Anytime he handles it, that opens it up for Tracy McGrady to come off the screens.
Well, Weatherspoon stays in the game instead of Juwan Howard. So it'll be T-Mac outside. Devin Brown is in to try to slow him down. Tracy knows he can shoot over Brown, and he won't get the roll this time. That bounced around and did not go in. So it's still 77-74, Spurs by 3.
Good offense by the Rockets. Good shot. It just didn't drop. Defense time.
Parker, there's that pick and roll play again. Parker walked all over the play.
But in the case of defense, Yao Ming didn't have to go outside. He didn't have to follow his man. He should have just played us on and blocked that shot. Here's Tracy back at the point.
79-74. Spurs by 5 with 5 minutes left. McGrady to the basket. Can you slam a layup off the glass? That looked like he shot down at that. And McGrady with 22 points.
He just exploded off of the screen. They have no way to defend him on the high post pick and roll at this time.
This is where you get into half court. And Ginobili lays it up and in. And the foul is called on Weatherspoon. Boy, he is so strong, and when he takes it to the basket, he can get it up and in.
Yeah, but he's not only so strong, watching, he's so big. You don't think about it in the NBA, but the guy is 6'6", strong, and when he gets it into that lane area, he's used to that. He can finish those types of plays.
Third year for Ginobili, but he's 28 years old, and again, Duncan creates a turnover by Houston by getting inside for the rebound, and Weatherspoon knocked it out of bounds, so another opportunity for San Antonio, leading it 81-76. Parker will set it in motion. Parker gets it inside and floats it up and in. Parker all night long has been able to penetrate. He has 20 points, 25 for Duncan. Jeff Van Gundy calls a timeout, and it's time for Houston's last stand. And they're going to have to make it with 4:27 left. 83-76 San Antonio. Time to check out tonight's Royce Builders block shots. So far, the Rockets have 5 blocks. The total donation to the RoyceBuilders.com Foundation for Youth so far this season is $11,850. Well, Coach, your first key tonight when we opened the game was keep Tony Parker out of the lane, and the Rockets haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, he's been so good at getting in the lane. It's just not off of the fast break, but when you run the high post pick and roll, he comes off of the screen so well. He goes to the basket. You see 20 points, and then he's been able to finish play after play.
46 points in the paint for San Antonio.
And part of that is not their big guys, not Tim Duncan. It's Parker going in there. He's outscored the Rockets. Now they're putting the press on.
Well, They came out in full court pressure. The Rockets couldn't get in, had to call a full timeout, and that is precious because that leaves the Rockets now with only one timeout left in this game. That was a big press by San Antonio. Well, that timeout by the Rockets left them with only one full timeout for the last 4:27 of this game. But again, Tony Parker has been the guy for San Antonio to penetrate the Houston defense.
You see him run the break. He gets all the way to the basket. He can do a little reverse layup. He gets a steal here with a layup, his quickness. But I think the area that he's hurt him the most, even though it's on the fast break and you see it basket after basket, is on the pick and roll play, carrying the ball to the basket and making decisions. Here comes San Antonio now out in a full court press.
And the Rockets have only one timeout remaining. They must get this one in.
Good coaching move by Pop last time. He jumped in a press. The Rockets were not expecting it. They had to use the timeout. And with the advancement of the ball in the NBA, timeouts are so big at the end of the game.
This time the Rockets had to play for that as T-Mac will bring it up. Last night in the final 4 minutes, not having Bob Sura really hurt Houston. And tonight it's the same thing at that point guard position. The Rockets are really getting hammered. There's Juwan Howard back into the game, and Nesterovic with a block.
The Spurs' defensive rotation the last 4 Rockets possessions has been unbelievable. Not on the ball defense, but away from the ball.
And Ginobili gives it up to Nesterovic for the jump hook. And now the execution of San Antonio. The Rockets look like they're beginning to tire a little bit.
Because I think the back-to-back, these 5 guys have played big minutes in both games.
Tracy McGrady back to Juwan. Juwan leans it in, short. Yao's got it. He's fouled by Nesterovic. And for Nesterovic, that's number 5.
I thought Nesterovic has come in tonight and give them physical play. His size has hurt Yao a little bit. When he has not been in the game, Yao has really scored against Messenberg.
Rockets are 16 of 20 from the free throw line, 19 of 29 for San Antonio. So Yao with 2 big free throws here. Rockets have to stay within shouting distance. Oh, man. Yao has missed 3 free throws in a row, and that's not like him. He's a good free throw shooter. But that may be a little fatigue, too. Do you think?
Yes, I think that he's the kind of guy, big guys, it's hard on them to play back-to-back. When you're 7'6", finding the head, finding all of that travel, and then just the exertion of getting up and down the court. Small players are able to overcome that easily.
Plus, he didn't get a lot of break, but he said he got a little rest at the All-Star game, though, more than he has in the past. He gets 1 out of 2. Yao with 20 points now. Rockets need some stops. And the whistle.
But that was a nice little move and feed. When you see Parker, and we talk about play, just see him see Ginobili inside, and then Ginobili has to press us to reverse out and make a left. But when you find a point guard, I'm going to get back to point guard play. Parker and Pop struggled a little bit the first couple of years he played. Right now, Pop has got his playing so good. For my age, everybody's a boy. But anyhow, he's got his man playing outstanding basketball.
Well, Parker calls it almost a father-son relationship now. But Parker says it was really tough on me at first trying to understand what Pop wanted me to do. And point guards are your extension of your coach, and that's why Jeff Van Gundy has been troubled not having Sura in the game. There's a steal by Parker. Strickland can't play. Coach, he's limping. The Rockets are just flat out of point guards right now, and Parker is making Houston pay. Rockets better get on that phone before the trading deadline tomorrow. Time is running out. San Antonio on a 14-3 run the last 3.5 minutes, ignited by the play of Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. That backcourt getting it done, but Parker taking advantage of a limping Rod Strickland. Andre Barrett is also hurt. Of course, there's no Bob Sura. And And there's just no way that Jeff Van Gundy has no way to coach without a point guard.
Well, they'll make a trade before 2 o'clock tomorrow. I believe that with all my heart now after tonight. There's the need. Carroll Dawson's the kind of guy, they're going to make the moves, and they will make one. The truck always picked the player of the game. Before they pick one, it's Tony Parker. Now, I don't know who they're going to say.
Well, boy, when Carroll Dawson brought in John Barry and then David Wesley, he was in contention for General Manager of the Year because the Rockets reeled off 8 wins in a row. But now with the injury to Sura, the injury to Barrett, now Barrett's back into the game, although he has a hurt ankle, but that's better than Strickland can't walk.
And you got to get some ball handling in because San Antonio now is picking up full court, making every play tough.
Barrett gets it in, but this has been a big run by San Antonio at a critical juncture of the game. 2:58 left to play, and there's another steal by Parker to Ginobili, and he's wrapped up by Barrett. Man, the Rockets just need somebody to handle the ball. It cost them last night in the final 4 minutes, and it's cost them the game here tonight.
Just cannot get in the offense. Last night, in the last 4 minutes, they really struggled. And last night, they did get shots. Tonight, this Spurs pressure's been so great, they're having trouble getting into their offense with an entry pass.
We talk so much about Tim Duncan, and he deserves for high praise, but, you know, Ginobili and Parker, and we haven't even seen Beno Udrih tonight. Also, we've seen Devin Brown. There's just a wealth of depth. Brent Berry, a lot of depth for this San Antonio team. And Yao Ming has it knocked out of bounds.
See, when you put Tracy at the point, that limits the plays you can run because they have not had time to practice with him enough at the point. Then what offensive options do you have?
The good news, if there is any tonight for Houston, there's Wesley going to the basket as Rose fell down, and they get it right back down to Manu Ginobili. The Rockets get back in transition defense.
I think they played hard. I think they've done all they could playing a tough back-to-back. They just need a little point guard help.
Now, as I said, the good news for Houston is Bowen shoots a three. Just about do it with 2:11 left. Unless Tracy McGrady's got another one of those finishes left in him.
I bet you right now San Antonio don't think it's over with.
And Bruce Bowen with a foul. That's the third team foul on San Antonio. Memphis lost earlier tonight. That's the good news I was talking about, because even with the loss, the Rockets will keep a 2-game edge over Memphis for that 6th spot.
Well, you kept saying what the good news was. I could never figure it out. You never did tell me.
Well, but the Lakers won last night. So, you know, what the Rockets have to do now is try to hold off Memphis, L.A., and there's Wesley falling down. Tonight's Landry signature group player of the game, Tony Parker, 22 points and 6 assists and 3 steals. So Parker will receive a $50 gift card. 5 steals, I'm sorry. A gift card from the Landry signature group of restaurants.
He's just caused so many problems for the Rockets defensively. He's just been able to get to the lane and make plays from there, either shots or hit his teammates for overshots.
5 steals for Parker and 3 for Ginobili. They have 11. The Spurs with 11 steals in this game tonight. That's a season high for Parker, the 5 steals. And a whistle. And a foul on David Wesley. And David has fouled out of the game. That's 6 fouls on David Wesley. Ryan Bowen will check in for the final 128. Well, it all started, the Rockets, of course, with an 8-game winning streak going into the All-Star break. Then when they gathered to practice on Monday of this week, Bobby Sura tweaked his back at the end of practice. And that was the start of the bad news. Sura did get good news today. If he joined us late, he will be out 10 to 14 days. But in the meantime, Jeff Van Gundy has to find a point guard, or it is going to be a tough March and April for Houston. Because even, as you pointed out, if Sura comes back, can you depend on him to go those kinds of minutes?
And then when he does come back, if it's out 2 weeks, it's just going to be a while before he can get his rhythm back to practicing and playing. And there is no doubt in my mind. I said it before he got hurt. I said it before the All-Star break. Bobby Serra has been the one. Get him in their offense. Get the tough rebounds. Make the shot. Drive to the basket. He has just been a tough, mentally tough, physically tough. They miss him so much.
So Carroll Dawson, of course, has been working the phones all day today. He'll be doing that again tomorrow. The trade deadline is at 2 o'clock Houston time tomorrow afternoon for the Rockets to try to do something. Because right now they need to bring in a point guard not only to play immediately, but to give Serra some breathing room. Yao Ming goes out with 20 points and Tracy McGrady with 22 points.
How about a point guard that can play Sunday against Utah? Don't be worried about the next game. Let's get Sunday's game. That's going to be a tough game at 3 o'clock.
Well, it is now, and it's a big game for the Rockets. Sunday, 3 o'clock against the Utah Jazz, and we need you Rocket fans to get out there to the Toyota Center and support your Rockets. They need to bust out of this thing. And they'll have a couple of days, though, Coach, if they can make a deal tomorrow. They'll have, 2 good practice days to get him integrated into the offense.
Take off tomorrow. It's a back-to-back. It doesn't make any difference. You've got to rest them. You've got to get their legs under practice Friday and Saturday, and that would be great. 2 days in this NBA, that'd be super.
Well, we're assuming. Tim Duncan caps it off with a three-pointer. He has 30 for the game.
Well, it's amazing. We're sitting around here talking about Tim Parker, but here's Duncan with how many points? 30?
He could play if he wanted to. Yeah, just a quiet 30 for Duncan.
Just a little quiet 30. You didn't have to have him too much in the fourth quarter. Just a little bit.
So the Rockets win 2 in Houston, and San Antonio is going to take the third game here in San Antonio. They play one more time. That'll be in March. Right back here in San Antonio. Spurs, with the best record in the NBA, will improve on that. Juwan Howard hits. Great game for Juwan tonight. 16 points. They got a lot out of him early. So the Spurs will go to 42-12. The Rockets will go to 32-23. 9 games over. The Rockets now, after winning 8 in a row, will drop 2 in a row. Looking for a point guard. So the final score here tonight is San Antonio 99 and the Houston Rockets 81. Remember, our next telecast will be Sunday at home against the Utah Jazz. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock on FSN Southwest, and we want you to be there with us. Stay tuned. The Busch Light Southwest Sports Report is coming up next.
Houston without Serra for a second straight game, taking on San Antonio. The Spurs back home for the first time in 25 days. But it was Houston that looked at home early on. Tracy McGrady nailing the 3, and the Rockets up 7 in the second quarter. But Tim Duncan would answer. Nice move on Yao, and the lefty finish. Duncan with 14 first-half points, but the Rockets did win the first 2 meetings this season. Yao Ming working the pick and roll with John Barry. The bucket +1, 45-42 Houston at the half. Third quarter, a Whataburger play of the day comes courtesy of Tony Parker, coast to coast for the lay-in. San Antonio now up 1, a 9-2 run for the Spurs, and they would keep on running in the fourth. Leading by 3. It's Manu Ginobili. Likes to go left. Hits the top lay-in. Spurs by 5. And now more from Tony Parker. TP hits the floater. Spurs by 7. Parker just taking over in the second half. He had 22 points, 6 assists, 5 steals. And the Spurs, who didn't lead by double digits until late in the fourth quarter, turn it into an 18-point win. 99-81 the final. Spurs have won 16 straight home games, and the Rockets, who had won 8 straight going into the All-Star break, have now lost 2 to start the second half. Guys, it seems like the Rockets are really feeling the loss of Bobby Sura right now.
Well, Dana, there's no doubt about that. Without Bob Sura, the Rockets are getting outplayed. You might get outplayed by Tony Parker anyway. He's that good of a point guard, but they had no answer for him tonight down the stretch.
And when you have Bobby Sura, you can get into your offense. You can score easy. You've got somebody that can stop a little bit. What you do is you put Sura over on Bowen, and then that lets David Wesley go at Parker. Tonight, they just cannot do it. The point guards the Rockets have now are too small.
Yeah, Parker really was able to maneuver inside. He set up a lot of his teammates, and Coach, this is something that, defensively you have to guard against.
Yeah, the first play you see is he runs a little cut, give and go. But after that, where he really hurt the Rockets was plays like that. On the break, with steals, he was just able to control the game from that position. Yes, Tim Duncan got 30 points, but Parker got to the basket. Nobody could stop him. He was just too quick. Here he is stealing the basketball from Rod. He pressured the point guards for the Rockets, and then he set up everything that the Spurs did offensively. He got the ball exactly where Pop wanted him to get the ball to for his teammates.
Now the trading deadline is 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and already the wires are burning up. Can you believe Chris Webber has been traded to Philadelphia for Kenny Thomas and a couple of other players? Corliss Williamson is the other one. So the trades have already started.
Yes, and I think there'll be many more trades between now and 2 o'clock. I do not understand why you would give up Webber in Sacramento. Maybe they just thought he'd worn out his welcome, but I'm really surprised by that trade. I look for the Rockets to do something in the morning, but I look for a number of other teams to make trades at this particular time.
Also, it's been heavily rumored here in the last few minutes that Baron Davis may be headed to the Golden State Warriors, so a lot of big names are involved in trade talks. The Rockets probably won't get that big a name, but I know Carol Dawson is out there looking for a point guard. Jeff Van Gundy is pleading for a point guard right now.
Yes, and I think the Rockets have to make a move even before the game Sunday. Right now you got Barrett limping, you got Barrett out, you got Strickland who could not play over about 25 minutes, and it's been proven that the other guys cannot play that position, and the offense roll is the way it's been rolling. They've been scoring up until they got Bobby Sura, so I think the Rockets had to find somebody.
So the Rockets win 8 in a row before the break. They lose 2 in a row after the break, and they'll be looking for a point guard tomorrow, folks.
Not being able to pick your poison either way.
No, they generated a higher level of intensity from 74-72 on. So they all played well. Give them credit.
Coach, how about the fourth quarter? I guess the Rockets player seems that disappointed in the fourth quarter.
What's that?
I mean, the fourth quarter, the player seems that disappointed.
Disappointed?
Yeah.
Well, we're disappointed after the fact, obviously. We didn't play very well. And like I said, they had another level, and that's why they're the best team in the league. And yet, by looking at the scoreboard, it seems like we're far, far away. And it's never as bad as it seems when it's going bad like it did tonight.